It's cold in here.
It's cold in here. But I'll take it over the sauna it usually is. As a great philosopher once said, it's Friday. Gotta get down on Friday. Ladies and gentlemen, the Star Award-winning Rob Brown Show starts right now. Hello, upstate South Carolina. Hello, America. Hello, world. We are back. 3 more hours of sports talk excellence separate us and the weekend. The Rob Brown Show is on your radio. What's happening, you good-looking people? I am the aforementioned Rob Brown, directly on the other side of the glass, both literally and metaphorically from me today. He is Colonel Grudge, hashtag Dad Kicks, the Alpha and the Omega of ESPN Upstate. The great one, Lonzo, is in the air chair today. What up, Zoe?
You can't get down on Friday. When can you?
When can you? We just want to get down. We got a show lined up today. And once again, live basketball while we do it. SEC tournament taking place down in Tampa as we are just seconds away from Auburn getting set to tee it off with Texas A&M. The Aggies ripping the heart out of the Florida Gators, beating them with a buzzer beater. You're not alone, Clemson. You're not alone. Welcome to March, where dreams and nightmares come true.
I would say the better team won in that matchup.
A&M was just all over them towards the end, but all over them. And now the Auburn Tigers sitting at 27-4, one of the best basketball years that school has ever had under Bruce Pearl, finds themselves up against a game Aggies team that believes in themselves a little bit. A&M with a quick runaway layup off the tip to go up 2. Auburn now just jacking up threes. None's going to go. And the Aggies out to a hot start.
Can I just say, and I am a fashion expert, the blue shoes, I'm not feeling it. Just not. I mean, yeah. If you look on the court, you're standing out. You better play well. That's all I'm saying.
With this, I'm down with the look. The problem is you're wearing Carolina blue shoes with an Auburn blue jersey. Well, I mean, the Auburn's in the whites, but the blue numbers, the blue letters, the royal blue of Auburn, that dark blue, and then you contrast it with the sky blue, right? Like it's not coordinated. And rule number 1 of sports is look good, feel good, play good, win good, right? It all starts with how you look when you say. That's why the 2 least favorites.
All right, you just sunk a 3.
Yeah.
So we're good.
Yeah, shut up, Lonzo.
We're good. No, we're good.
Say something to tell us about my shoes.
No. I mean, I hope that. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure he's got one earbud in and he's listening to the show. I don't blame him.
You gotta look good to feel good. When you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, you play good. When you play good, you win good. Right? That is why I've always knocked what I think are genuinely the worst uniforms in the National Football League are the Dallas Cowboys, right? I think the Dallas Cowboys white jersey, silver pants, silver helmet is the worst uniform in football because there's no contrast to it, right? You gotta it's a darker blue star, but it's not like a bold blue on top of white, on top of a not very robust silver. There's just no contrast to it. It's a blob. They are threatened only, Lonzo, by the New England Patriots all dark blue when they go dark blue shirt, dark blue hats, because they look like they're wearing pajamas. It's not a good look.
I'd say all color rush uniforms look like pajamas.
Now, you can get away with them if they're a bold color, right? Like I think if you go all white, you can look good in all white if you do it right. I think the Saints all white uniforms might be the best uniforms in the NFL overall, and we only wear them a couple of times a year. The all whites are great. All black always works. All black's a good look. I actually think Seattle's all neon highlighter green is a good look. But you got to do it the right way. New England looks like they're rolling out there in their onesies to play football. It's not a great look. Texas A&M 4, Auburn 3. We have played just a tick under 3 minutes here. Auburn is 1 of 4 from the 3-point line, and now a charge called against the War Eagle Tigers. So A&M gets the ball back with a 1-point lead. We'll keep you up to date. I'm not going to play-by-play that whole game for you, but I'll check in with you here and there on some score updates. Speaking of, Lonzo, I looked at today's college bat. Today might be, and I know March is one of, by the way, I'm going to talk about this later. It's probably America's favorite sporting event is March Madness, right? I think it's probably America's favorite sporting event. I don't know if it is the best sporting event, but it is the most exciting. Right. I heard Mark talking about that yesterday, how, October is the best month of the year, but March Madness is the best event of the year. It depends on what angle you're looking for. From a fan perspective, from a fans only perspective, I think March Madness is America's favorite. From a sports perspective, it's about my 5th favorite postseason. Honestly, about my 5th favorite postseason. And we'll talk about that later on in the show. But I looked up earlier today's basketball schedule as we get our conference semis and our conference finals underway. We started with games tipping off about 30 minutes before we came on the air when Indiana and Illinois went live on the Big Ten Network. We got Auburn and A&M right now. Fordham versus Davidson's taking place on the USA Network. Between now and then, we've got, I'm estimating, Lonzo, about 43 games going on today. After 9 p.m., 15 games that start at 9 p.m. or later, including, Lonzo, Portland State at Northern Colorado at 10 o'clock, number 21 USC versus number 13 UCLA. That tips at 11:30 tonight, at the same time as Hawaii and Cal State Fullerton and Abilene Christian at Seattle. And then a top 25 matchup on the CBS Sports Network between San Diego State and Colorado State, Lonzo, that tips at 11:59 p.m. this evening. This is not a full day of basketball. This is, though, over 12 hours of tournament basketball today. We're borderline. Let's see. We started at 11:30. That one game tips at midnight. There's 13 hours right there, just about 12 and a half hours. Add another 2 hours. We're looking at 14 and a half consecutive hours where there's basketball happening somewhere on television today. Today might be the best basketball day on the calendar.
You know what? And if you're not into basketball, at least it's Friday. I mean, so there's that.
Sincere question for you and for those of you out there listening. Preferred Home Services text line open for you at 71307. Sincere question, Lonzo. What is the level of passion for college basketball in this market? A little, an average amount, a lot? What's the average level of compassion for college basketball around here? And is it impacted by the fact that Clemson and South Carolina are average right now?
Could have been a walk there, maybe. I don't know. Was he in the air? I'm not
looking at me.
Not sure he was in the air. I would say, and this has been explored extensively on offsides, that people around here are okay with mediocre basketball. So if you're okay with mediocre basketball, then I don't know what the excitement would be about this. Although it's college basketball, so you're going to see a lot of mediocre basketball.
Sure, and I've heard that take before, right? I mean, it's.
I am not a college basketball fan. It's hard to get me to be one. Am I a fan of my favorite team? Yes, who I watched lose last night. But one thing about, especially the tournament next week, is the presentation is like no other. Especially if you're watching on TV when they're jumping around from game to game at the end of games. That is, whether you're a fan or not, that's one of the coolest things in the world. I mean, they're going, and no, let's jump over here. Yeah. There's a buzzer beater there, and then they jump over there, and it's the energy is excellent.
The first 8 days of March are amazing, right? Because we start with games tipping at 11:30 in the morning, and we take it till midnight Sunday night. It's incredible. First 3 or 4 days, or first 4 days of the tournament, The first round are amazing. Second round's really good, and it tapers off after that. But then it starts going from quantity of basketball to quality of basketball, right? That's when you start seeing the matchups we're looking forward to. I think it's great. But again, my question is, what's the level of passion for college basketball in this market? And the reason I ask is, obviously, the NCAA first round starts next week. We'll be carrying games here on ESPN Upstate. I'll be attending the opening round at the Well next Friday and Sunday. And I plan on covering. I plan on covering extensively. I plan on going live from the event on our streams. I plan on sending out tweets from the event. I plan on putting up articles of the games that are happening. But my question is, does anybody care? Does anybody care? Because we've talked a lot of college basketball the last couple of weeks, but I've kind of found a spot, Zoe, that it's like, I don't know if I can justify going deep into college basketball, right? Like, until we get to the Sweet 16, I kind of don't feel like I can justify, short of it's my show and I want to, getting deep into it. Somebody asked the other day, how come you didn't break down the Clemson Virginia Tech game? And the answer is because in the 2 years I've been doing this, 2+ years I've been doing this now, I can count the number of Clemson basketball calls I've taken on two hands, and the majority of those were, can we fire Brad Brownell yet? And the same is true for the Gamecocks. Outside of South Carolina women's college basketball, I've only taken a handful of calls about both men's teams, and the majority of those have been, can we fire our head coaches at this point? Are you guys into it? Is it something worth talking about? Texture says, ESPN, if not for bracket pools for the March tournament, it feels like very few people around this area care much at all. It's a good event, and I'll watch some, but it's not something I plan my schedule around. And I guess that's kind of my question mark here, Lonzo, because the first 3 rounds of the tournament, I do plan my schedule around them, right? You know, my favorite invention in a very long time was CBS on their website when they're broadcasting the first and second round games. You can go to their website, Zoe, and they basically put all the games up there, right? And they got a little thing where I think you can put up to like 8 games on your screen at any given time, right? And so I'll go and hook the laptop. I can hook the laptop up to the 60-inch and have 8 games going on my TV, and then you just click which one you want the sound from at any given time. But then down to the bottom right corner, it used to be, I don't know if it's still there, but when I worked at a bank a handful of years, and I absolutely planned my day around what game was going on when, they had a little red button down to the button. It was a panic button. It was called the boss button, right? And if you clicked the red boss button, the CBS website automatically just loaded like CNN.com or FoxNews.com. It just loaded a business, Wall Street Journal. It just loaded a business website for you, right? So there was a panic button. You're sitting in the office and you hear the boss clicking down the hallway. You just click the panic button and it takes you to a business website. And then when the boss clears the doorway, you push back and you're right back to your 8 games. It was amazing. And I planned not just my day around that, but I planned my day around knowing, all right, my boss, whose name at the time was Travis, my boss for a couple of years when I was doing radio, but also having to work other real jobs at the same time, I knew when he made his rounds. He always made his rounds at 11:45, just before lunch. And then when he came back around 1:15 after his lunch break, he'd make the rounds. And we all knew exactly when he was coming to make sure we had the boss button ready. I planned my day around it. It is a massive event, and I love it. But my question is,
you think Travis,
am I alone?
I think Travis didn't know that. He knew that.
I'm sure he did, and he didn't care. Part of the reason I got the job was because he knew who I was from the radio, and he's like, oh, I can get you to work here too. Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure he did, but he's got to put on the boss face, right? Rob, you know I can't be paying you to sit here and watch 48 hours of college basketball in 5 days. Well, that's what you are doing. Anyway, Texas says, I take the first 4 days of the tournament off every year. It's one of my favorite sports weekends of the year. Yeah, that's the level I'm into, right? Like, that's me. If I was not doing a job where it's effectively required of Lonzo and I to have the Auburn Texas A&M game on right now, if I was working a real job, I'd either be off, I'd either use some vacation or the old vasectomy day, right? And take the day off so I could watch it. Or I'd be making sure that my workspace that week was with my back against the wall and multiple laptop screens in front of me. I love this. I love March Madness. I love the conference tournaments. The first 2 rounds of the tournament are one of the best things, most exciting things in sports, no doubt. Maybe not the best sports thing, but the most exciting thing. But I don't know that it gets a reaction from you guys. Texter on the Preferred Home Services text line says, yes, we follow local college basketball. Wish we were better, but are still very interested. The Clemson versus Tech game was really entertaining and deserved discussion. I agree. We talked about it a little bit, but I got nothing. I guess that's my question.
Whereas the South Carolina game, we don't really need to talk about that.
That was ugly. Mississippi State destroyed the second half. Ugly. Texter says the panic button would go to a fake Excel spreadsheet. That's what it was. Good call. I knew it did something. Texter says, pretty sure there's another station down the road that will gladly talk Clemson basketball with the 8 people that care. I mean, look, if the only thing that you care about in your sport is your team, we're not the show for you, right? And that's okay. I don't disparage anybody. If when it comes to college basketball, you only care about your team and those scores and those results and nothing else going on in the world of that sport, then yeah, no, we're not the show for you. Never have been, never will be. It's okay. We're not for everybody. But at the same time, we do make sure that the schools that we cover here in the area, the NBA and NFL teams, the MLB teams we cover in this area, get a little more exposure than the national scene. But that's based on you guys reacting to it, and there's just not a lot of it. All right, let's do this. Let's take a break. When we come back, there's only one item on the lunch breakdown today, and you already know what it is. So I'll give you my thoughts on baseball's agreement when we come back. I'm Rob. He's Lonzo. This is what the South Carolina Broadcasters Association called the best sports talk radio show of 2021. This is the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
So, Steven, if it's specifically MCU, I think there's an obvious choice. I'm not going to say what it is, but it's an obvious choice, and I think it's already been done. To look that up and see.
Judas in my mind.
So the other question, Steven, is, are we talking, you said any, so either a villain or a hero. There was a whole line of comic books where Venom just fused with a ton of different guys and girls. Reminds me, I meant to show you something. I find it.
Nice. That is dope looking.
It's also free.
It's free.
It's an entire set where
Right.
you find it, so you don't have to fight anybody to get
Oh,
it.
you just go get it.
Well, there's not. It's kind of hard to find.
Mhm.
And I read about it, and it's like, okay, let me give that a shot. And you know how it is. As long as you pick it up, even if you die, it's
Yeah.
yours. So the only bad part is it's kind of weaker than the armor I already had, but it looks so cool, so I don't care. Because that major armor that I already had, which was not major, I was still dying with it on. So what's weaker armor?
Yeah.
At least I'm gonna look cool when I
Yeah.
die. But you can find it if you're following the main storyline. See, I think the worst one would be the Hulk, but and I looked up pictures. There are pictures of Venom fusing with the Hulk, and it's freaky.
Didn't they do a series on?
Yeah, there was an entire comic book series of symbiotes, and it was wild.
So there's only one item that would have been on today's lunch breakdown. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a deal. April 7th is opening day as baseball and the Players Association reached a new collective bargaining agreement yesterday evening. Yes, it was late. It doesn't matter. It got done. They are playing. I talked about this very briefly yesterday, but we were at a point where April 14th was going to be opening day. April 15th is the annual Jackie Robinson celebration that Major League Baseball puts on, right? Where everybody wears number 42 and, you go to any MLB stadium and all the retired numbers, Jackie Robinson's 42 is up there with him, and they cut the 42 out into the grass, and Jackie's family comes out at different ballparks and they just celebrate the career of Jackie Robinson. April 15th is Jackie Robinson Day. And so had they canceled more games, it got to the point where that day would have been threatened. And considering the amount of emphasis that Major League Baseball puts on Jackie Robinson Day, threatening that day with more cancellations would have been a really bad look for them, right? The whole premise of you guys care more about eking every cent out of baseball than you do about honoring the trailblazer of the sport, to the point that you would effectively cancel the annual Jackie Robinson celebration in order to whatever it is that made you cancel it, would have been a bad look. So I kind of figured that this would be the round that the deal got done, and it did. And it did. And I don't care if that's the reason it got done. MLB and the MLBPA reached that collective bargaining agreement yesterday afternoon on the 99th day of the lockout. 26 of the 38 union leaders voted in favor of a 5-year CBA that saw its members make significant gains with regard to minimum salaries and the competitive balance tax threshold, among other ideas or other areas. The 30 team owners ratified the deal by unanimous vote, according to the league, finalizing a CBA that provided them with an expanded postseason field and the ability to place advertisements on the uniform, amongst other situations. Give me clip number one. Clip number one, if you don't mind, Lonzo. Rob Manfred held a press conference. Now, we only have audio from Manfred today because the MLBPA president, Tony Clark, has not held his press conference yet. They will be doing that later on today. Actually, it should be coming up any minute now. So we only have press conference audio from Rob Manfred, but it's a little bit long-winded. But here's Rob Manfred. He says a couple of things in this clip that we'll address after it's over.
I have to say, I am genuinely thrilled to be able to say that Major League Baseball's back and we're going to play 162 games. I do want to start by apologizing to our fans. I know that the last few months have been difficult. There was a lot of uncertainty at a point in time when there's a lot of uncertainty in the world. Sort of the way the process of collective bargaining works sometimes, but I do apologize for it. Looking forward, I could not be more excited about the future of our game. I think we have an opportunity in front of us. I think it's an opportunity that we need to work with the players to fully seize. But I think that some of the things in the agreement are really, really important in that regard. I think the expanded playoff format will bring postseason baseball and maybe even more importantly, exciting September baseball to more markets. I think the balanced schedule will be a real improvement for our fans. It'll give our fans a greater opportunity to see all of the great players in the game on a more regular basis. I do believe, I hope, that the players will see the effort we made to address their concerns in this agreement as an olive branch in terms of building a better relationship. We built some processes into this agreement where we're going to be interacting more regularly with players on topics like the international draft and rule changes. I think those opportunities for positive interaction help to build a better relationship. One of the things that I'm supposed to do is promote a good relationship with our players. I've tried to do that. I think that I have not been successful in that. I think that it begins with small steps. It's why I picked the phone up after the ratification and called Tony and expressed my desire to work with him. And, you know, it's going to be a priority of mine moving forward to try to make good on the commitment that I made to him on the phone.
That's Rob Manfred. He's the commissioner of Major League Baseball and a man who said the word processes. They put some more processes into place.
So I saw you looking it up to see if you
I just
could
wanted to
find
make
it.
sure I wasn't an idiot.
I have heard it used before.
Processes?
Yes, it's used more by people
Who don't know how to say the word processes?
who believe that they are, you know, uber intelligent and above, you know, lesser.
Who needs actual
People like
words
us.
when I can make up very smart sounding, not real words?
You probably shouldn't talk about mispronunciations of words. I'm just saying. Because you're asking for it. Not from me, by the way. Not
That's
from me.
fair. No,
but
you're right. That's very fair. That's very fair. I have processes to make sure that I don't do that. All right. So that's Rob Manfred, who said a couple of things there. Rob Manfred said he's happy about baseball and it's got a chance to grow and he's very excited. And then he went on to say, I hope, basically boiled down, the players don't hold a grudge against me. They do, Rob. Nobody likes you. A. And B, he said that he hopes that the relationship can get better moving forward. Look, we learned a handful of things through these negotiations, right? And one of the things that we learned through these negotiations is that relationships are irrelevant when there are 7-figure paychecks on the line, right? I got to tell you, as Lonzo knows about me, I don't like conflict. I don't like conflict. The reason this radio show is not a hot take debate show, which seems to be the way a lot of people want to go nowadays, is because I don't like conflict. Like it's negative to me. It is required out of life sometimes. I'm not saying there's never conflict. Of course there is. I'll tell you this though. If tomorrow, Zoe, the 4-letter called me and said, hey, Rob, we want to pay you $2 million a year to come up here and have a debate show with Stephen A. Smith every day, y'all would see me on TV. All right? Like quick. So I don't like conflict. But over a few $1 million a year, I will conflict with my own mother for $2 million a year.
I was going to say, I can give you some pointers on conflict.
Oh, I know.
If you need that. And yeah, how could you not go and do that? Even if you don't like, because there are certain guys and certain people that you work with that will bring out the conflict in you, even though you don't think it exists.
Sure. In a situation like that, all right. Yeah. Now, you pay me $2 million a year to create conflict. I'm going to create some damn conflict. All right. I ain't able to look. When I got this job, one of the bosses that made the call to hire me was like, look, at the end of the day, the point of this job is to put your opinions out there, find people who don't agree with you and have the discussion, have the debate, have a little conflict. Which is why, when I have an opinion, I give it and I hold on to it. That's where the whole Liberob the Woke Warrior joke start. Well, name, I shouldn't call it a joke. Some of y'all really feel that way. That's where the whole thing came from, right? When there are millions and millions of dollars on the line, nobody cares if Tony Clark and Rob Manfred are golfing buddies. We don't care. We want a deal done, right? And I guess that to me is the whole thing, is that they're trying to slap a smiley face on this. In fact, do me a favor. Give me clip 1A if you don't mind. Jeff Passan talked about this on ESPN today. They asked him, who are the winners and the losers from this particular deal getting done? And here's what Passan had to say.
I think in the end, the players got what they were looking for. They got big raises in the competitive balance tax threshold, up to $230 million in the first year and $244 million by the 5th year. They got $50 million a year in the pre-arbitration bonus pool. Minimums got raised to $700,000 from $570,000 and ending up at $780,000. But I think it's important, Kevin, to point this out. You are a winner. Shea is a winner. Tim is a winner. I'm a winner. Everyone watching this are winners because baseball's back. And those were words that I wasn't sure I was going to be able to say. This lasted a long time. It was contentious. It was problematic. But in the end, the owners went toward the players. The players went toward the owners. They found that middle ground, that compromise that they'd long been looking for. And opening day is going to be great.
Lonzo, you're a winner.
Rob, you're a winner.
See, we can support each other, people. Listener, you're a winner.
Not all of you. not all of you.
Texas says, love that the 32 team reps voted to play ball and get back to work after the executive committee voted 8-0 to reject. Kind of a small coup that shows the majority of players just want to get back out there and play. And they do. Of course they do. Of course they do. And the higher up you go in the chain of command, the less likely they were to accept it, right? The bigger the paycheck gets, the less likely you're willing to compromise. But I promise you, if I'm a guy who is a bottom tier Major League Baseball player, right? Like I'm a borderline guy who just barely makes the roster. Yeah, I don't want to sit out a season. The vet minimum just went up from like $525,000 or no, $580,000 to $725,000, something like that. I don't have the exact number in front of me. I got it on my show prep somewhere, but I'm lazy and don't want to look for it. But it just came up about $200K. If I know that my ability to play baseball just barely keeps me in Major League Baseball, every year I sit out is 700 GER off the books of my life, right? Of course I want to play. Of course I'm pushing the PA to get it done and get me out there so I can play. Of course I am. Texas says, I've negotiated a CBA with a Fortune 500 company, and Manfred is straight up lying. The way they postponed negotiations in order to attempt to gain leverage made it obvious they were trying to squeeze every last dime out of the players and the fans. Be damned. Yeah, I agree. Listen, I am not going to come in here today and go, yay, Rob Manfred got it done. Good job. The deadlines are arbitrary, Rob. You set them. Nobody else. You guys could figure it out, right? But when you go, we're going to do it tomorrow, or I'm going to enact punishments on you, right? That is it. Now, granted, negotiations are all about leverage, right? Negotiations are all about leverage. That's negotiations 101. What leverage do you have? What power do you have? And how do you use that leverage and that power to get a better result for you? How do you go about that? And the answer is exactly what baseball just did. They said, we got the ability to stop these games, which stops the paycheck to the players. That's our leverage point. How do we use that to make them come to us? It's by kicking arbitrary deadlines out into the middle and going, figure it out by now, or we start taking money from you. Because the players didn't really have that. There's no reciprocal action from the players there. I mean, I guess the players could theoretically go, well, for every week that you cancel, once the season starts, that's 1 week that all the players are going to sit out. But they can't, right? Again, if I'm a baseball player who thinks I might have a 1 to 4 year career at a $700,000 minimum pay, I'm not sitting out a year so that Max Scherzer can get an extra $2 million on his paycheck. There's no reciprocal action there. There's no equal but opposite reaction. I agree with that. Texas says, I find ironic that the union reps voted 8-0 to remain deadlocked and were outvoted by the rank and file who actually needed paychecks. No sympathy for either side, and excited for the MLS season and World Cup qualifying. Not MLB at all. It could have been worse. Zoe, it could have been worse. You could have had a lot of casual MLB fans, had the lockout extended, had the baseball season been, it's been impacted. The opening day has been pushed back a week. But they're going to play a full 162, so we're still getting a full season. It just starts a week later. Had it gotten to the point that we were losing 200, 300, 400, 1,000, 1,500 games out of the season, a lot of casual fans might have walked away. I wonder, I don't think many did based on this. But we'll find out when the TV ratings start dropping. All right, so what's in that CBA? What's in that agreement that was signed by the players and the owners? I'll tell you that when we come back here in just a minute. I'm Rob. He's Alonzo. You're listening to The Rob Brown Show right here on ESPN Upstate.
You know, it's pretty sad when you make a hustle steal and you're going down the court and you miss the layup. That just
that's rough.
What that says is I can't jump because
listen, I can't jump. I can make a layup. If you can't make a layup, you can't play basketball.
Well, slam the ball. If you help that thing through the hoop, you don't have to worry about missing. He was moving pretty fast, and I know that could be pretty scary, or I believe it could be really scary when you're coming at the rim like that. But
golf play has been suspended on this day 2 of the Players' Championship because of the weather. Dustin Johnson in a group 3 strokes off the lead. Coverage on ESPN Plus throughout the day.
DJ.
You know, my favorite thing about the NCAA tournament is that I potentially have 2 half days of work. That's my favorite thing. Not that this job is difficult, because it's not. It's a lot of fun, but still.
Alonzo said, I just need a break.
You know, whether you leave work 5 minutes early, 15 minutes, or 4 hours early, you're still leaving work early. Even
Yup.
if you're leaving a job that you absolutely love, you're still leaving work early. There's just something that feels pretty cool about that. So you leave and get a call. Why'd you go home?
Yeah, where are you? Every station's off the air, and you're the only one that knows how to fix it.
Well, thanks to new capabilities, I can just jump on work at home.
I played the other night with the remote access thing on the laptop of the house, and I was like, oh, why did I ever agree to come back to work? That's not true. I like being here, but
Well,
I actually prefer to do the show in the studio. But now that I know, and I've actually got a full studio, office, desk, etc., set up at the house. I plan on taking full advantage.
yeah, that's why I've been waiting for you to say, you know what? Not in
I'm going
today.
back home.
Got everything set up here.
Oh yeah, I got a boom mic stand, and I got 3 different microphones, and I've got
You know, one thing
surround sound
I don't have any mics
speakers.
set up. I mean, I have mics.
You know, mic setup.
Since I have a hand-me-down computer from my son who decided to build a new one, which is still like 10 times faster than any computer I already had. And I have the laptop from here, but it's already capable of podcasting. So it's got a sound card in it where I
Yeah.
can just plug a mic directly into it. I just haven't plugged any in yet.
All righty. So let's start with the rule changes in this CBA that actually impacts us as baseball fans, right? Now, I heard somebody say yesterday on a different show, not in this market. I listen to shows outside this market for boats and giggles. But outside of this market, I heard a guy say something to the tune of, well, you know, a lot of what's in the CBA doesn't impact us as fans. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you that's not true. That's not true. Everything in here impacts you to some degree, right? Everything. Even the advertising on the jerseys. That's one of the things. Owners are now allowed to sell jersey sponsorship. So when your favorite team goes out there this year, much like they have now in the NBA, the owners can stick a little patch. Goodyear Tires, official sponsor of the Atlanta Braves, or whatever it is. The Braves don't pick up a Waffle House sponsorship out the gate. I don't know what they're doing. But you get the point. Does that impact you all that much? Not really. Not directly. Except for you're just not, that's what you're going to see, right? And who knows what direction that goes. One of my favorite jokes right now is that the Lakers, Lonzo, they have a jersey sponsor. Their jersey sponsor is Wish.com, right? You know what Wish.com is? Wish.com is like if Amazon Prime was on drugs, right?
It looks really good when you order it. When you
Oh,
get
yeah.
it, it doesn't look anything like it.
Oh, yeah. Wish.com is known for selling you janky knockoffs of whatever you think you're ordering.
When you go and go, oh man, that looks so cool, and then you see Wish on, it's like, never mind.
Never mind. And the running gag right now, obviously, is that this year's Lakers, who are what, 2-8 in their last 10, have won 1 game since the All-Star break and lost 7, I think. Ladies and gentlemen, the Wish.com Lakers. They got their Lakers on Wish, right? It's not the end of the world. It's not huge stuff, but a lot of the stuff that was agreed to in the rules will impact fans. Pitch clocks, thumbs up by the players. There will be a pitch clock in Major League Baseball this year. Looks like it's going to be the 14-19. 14-second pitch clock if there are no runners on base, 19 seconds if there are. There will be a ban on defensive shifts. You can't shift anymore. I got to thinking about, I was trying to come up with a more apt analogy for the banning of the shift. Lonzo, could you imagine if the NFL's passing numbers went down? And so the NFL banned double high safeties, right? The NFL was like, nope, you can only play single high safety from now on because quarterback numbers are down. Like, how dumb is that? But that's what they're doing here. But the players agreed to it, so whatever. The National League will now adopt the designated hitter. So we have a universal DH now. Congratulations to the Atlanta Braves, as they're, not only did they win the World Series, but they ended up having the last pitcher ever to win a hitting award. It'll never happen again, unless Shohei Ohtani does it, but he doesn't really count. And the expanded bases. We will get larger bases this year. Again, that's one that I'm way on board with.
Can a pitcher be the designated hitter?
I mean, not if they are pitching. If they're in the game as a pitcher.
Well, you just mentioned
Like, can they bat for themselves?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They can.
Okay. Because I mean, there are some pitchers out there who can hit.
Shohei
That's-
Ohtani.
Yeah.
Face of the Major League
I mean, because
Baseball.
that would suck for him if they say, yeah, you're pitching, you can't hit. Sorry.
Postseason rules. Postseason will expand to 12 teams at this point. So we'll have 12 in now. You'll end up with your 8 divisional champs and a couple of wild cards on both sides. I'm in for it. And there will be, in the postseason, there will be no man on second base to start extra innings in the postseason, which is good. I hate that rule. Hate that rule, right? Just keep the game going until somebody wins. It's real simple. Draft rules. We will go to a 6-team draft lottery. The goal there is to discourage tanking, right? Now, I do not know what this draft lottery looks like yet. I don't know if it's going to be NBA style where it's based on, the worst team in the league still ends up with the best odds to draw number one, but not a guarantee, et cetera. I suspect they will, but there will be a draft lottery to discourage tanking.
Will there be ping pong balls?
Good question. Don't know. Like I said, we don't know what it looks like yet. In order to prohibit service time manipulation, draft picks will be induced. Other changes implemented. We mentioned the advertising a second ago. The number of times a player can be optioned to the minor leagues in one season will be limited now. It used to be that you could call guys up and send them down as many times as you wanted. And that is a way that a lot of teams would get around service time requirements, right? If you call up a guy and you have him play X amount of major league games, but then you send him back down to the minors, it would not count against his service time, meaning that you lock up his rights for another year and prohibit him being able to go to another team that might utilize him on the big league roster.
Does that affect players who are coming back from injury and start out in the?
Good question. Don't know. And again, that's gonna be stuff that's gonna trickle out over the next couple of days as reporters get their hands on this deal. The final biggest one that impacts the fans, the 2023 schedule. The 2023 schedule will be more balanced, and starting next year, every team will play at least one series against every opponent in both leagues. It has not been that way. But starting not this season, but next season, every team will play at least one series against every other team in Major League Baseball, which I think is kind of rad, right? I think that's kind of cool. I remember a couple of, was it 2 years ago? Maybe last year. I think 2 years ago. The Braves went up to Fenway and played a series at Boston. I think that's awesome. That's the kind of trip, Lonzo, that your boy sees on the schedule the next year out. Braves at Boston and goes, you know what? I'm going on vacation. I'm going to fly up there and go to that, right? When the Braves, if and when the Braves fly up to New York to take on the Yankees, I'll probably fly up there for that. Why not, right? I like it. I think it's a good idea. There's some old changes. We'll talk more about it, but those are the big changes that will impact you as fans. Let's take a break. We'll come back, wrap up hour number 1 after this. Coming up at 1:45, Owen Watterson from, ESPN Upstate has been covering Clemson spring practice. He's been up there a couple of times to listen to some of the post-practice interviews of Dabo Swinney in the game. We'll have Owen on to give us a spring practice update for the Tigers. Next Monday, Corey Diaz from the Greenville News will join us. South Carolina starts their spring practice next Tuesday. We'll get a full rundown from him about what to expect out of that. All that more coming up on the Rob Brown Show, ESPN Upstate.
Jennifer Richards and audience in upstate. Currently, it's 54.
And so is the madness. March Madness. Get down with them. ESPN Upstate is your home for exclusive Westwood One coverage for the journey to the tourney. It's March Madness. 68 teams with hopes of becoming the national basketball champion. Plus, the women's Final Four. Hear it all. March Madness from Westwood One.
All right, let's see what do we got going on there. Facebook chat. Can we get some of the car karaoke on the radio? You do not want us singing, Ben. I promise. I promise. Let's see. Good vibes and wishes out to Keegan Sullivan. Here, look at this, Steven. I'm gonna send a picture of that screen. Send Keegan a picture of that so he knows we're thinking about him.
There he is, Ginger Kid.
Why won't this take a picture?
Go to the Ginger Kid. What's the defense, Ginger Kid?
Oh, my camera's not working. That's fine. Throw it to the Ginger
Like,
Kid.
he doesn't look like he belongs. It's like someone let their.
Alonzo, I will not stand for gender discrimination, sir. Ben says, congratulations, Keegan. Trey said, if you're a liberal, I would have never known. I don't accept labels, Trey. I don't accept labels. I'm not a liberal. I'm not a conservative. I'm a free thinker.
I'm going to hit you with the label and you're going to accept it. Winner.
I am a winner, Alonzo, and you are a winner. Trey,
Yes.
you're a winner too. Chase says Alonzo looks like the comic book guy from The Simpsons right now. Actually, that guy's one of the best characters on the show.
What is it, the hoodie? Or should I let my hair down? What do I got to do?
The hair, absolutely.
Okay, well, you know.
You know who we're talking. You know who that guy is?
I'll have to look it
Comic
up.
book guy?
I'm probably going to be
He
offended. I'm
literally just goes by comic book guy.
going to be offended, but that's fine. But since I am a comic book guy, it's. Yeah, I know I'd be offended. I'll have you know my shirt fits well. It's not really a stereotype. There's a lot of people in the comic book store that kind of look like that, but
No, I'm actually not a libertarian, Trey. I'm actually not, because the concept of libertarianism is as much minimalization of the government as possible, and that's not entirely. There's a lot of what I feel that does line up with libertarianism.
You guys are going to make me leave the room.
We're not getting into the philosophy or the beliefs, Lonzo, just the philosophies here. No, I would not say. I would say I hold a lot of core libertarian values, but not enough that I would describe myself as a libertarian.
He's secretly an anarchist.
No, quite the opposite, actually. Anarchy is conflict.
That's why I said secretly.
I am I don't even know. I genuinely don't think I have a label. You ever done one of those tests where you answer like 100 questions and it tells you where on the political scale you fall?
See, the problem with that is, like with any test, if you're smart, you can just manipulate it
Right,
however
but like,
you
why
want.
would you, right?
Yeah.
Like, the point is to figure out where it goes. I can't remember the school, but there's a school that created one that is supposed to be as neutral as possible. And almost without fail, every time I take one, my dot's almost in the center every time. Almost in the center every time.
I don't know about you being in the center, but
You would be shocked at some of the conservative viewpoints that
I've
I hold.
already been shocked by some of them. Yes. So
Let's bring it back to sports. I can't stand a Miami Hurricane, and I hope Duke beats them by 40. I hate Miami. Hate them. Hate them. couple of more texts that have come in on the Preferred Home Services text line, 71307. Start your text with ESPN. Texture says, processes, reciprocal. Your show for men is getting too bougie. We are bougie. I can go get my hat and suit jacket out of the car if you want. I got a box of cigars down there I can light up.
Yeah, but we're not the show for men. So, I mean.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Text says, regardless of the opinions on the lockout, the fact remains that the Atlanta Braves are world champions. Yes, they are. And it feels so good. So good.
But are they till the end of the season? Is that how that works?
Yeah, you're world champions till somebody else is.
Okay.
Absolutely. Texter says, speaking of missed layups, the USC game flipped on the Miss Keyshawn Bryant dunk yesterday. Hey, look, Mississippi State in the second half showed the perseverance that South Carolina did not. It was there are basketball games where the mentality breaks down in the second half, and Frank Martin's team broke down in the second half yesterday. Mississippi State did not. It's that simple, right? And you can pinpoint one spot if you want, this dunk or that blown three or whatever. But when it comes down to it, there are teams that are mentally tough, and then there are teams that aren't. And yesterday, South Carolina was not. Mississippi State's a good little team. They gutted it out. South Carolina fell apart. Texas says, the Houston Astros, sponsored by Waste Management. Oh, that's a good text. That's a good text. And somehow the Pirates will still tank. And what do they mean by larger bases? Like actual size? What does that change? Yes, that's literally what it means. They're going to add a couple of inches to the bases so that players stop stepping on each other's ankles.
And instead of stepping on ankles, now toes and other feet will be broken because they're used to a base being the same size their entire life. Now it's bigger. You go to slide and you go to pull up on your slide and you think it's a couple inches longer, and it's not.
Lonzo, the eternal optimist, ladies and gentlemen. There's one thing I admire about him. It's the silver lining. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show, ESPN Upstate. That's on me. That's on me.
No, it's not. That's my job. I'm in that La La Land place.
There you go. There's a label I accept. A liberservative. A conservable. The basketball classic. Not a basketball classic. Not one of the basketball classics. The basketball classic.
Right. You've now bore witness to me making even more mistakes. More proof I'm heading the other direction. It's all downhill.
After 50.
It's all downhill.
Might as well go ahead and get the retirement home on
earlier.
the phone.
They were doing a comparison between Russell Wilson and Carson Wentz, and I couldn't remember Russell Wilson's name. So, I mean, I'm done. I am finished. Prisma in the next.
Prisma. Hour number 2 of the Rob Brown Show goes now. This is ESPN Upstate. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rob, Lonzo, you 844 GSP ESPN. Preferred home services text line is 71307. Start your text with ESPN. Tweet us at The Rob Brown Show. Tweet us at Lonzo on Word. And tweet us at ESPN Upstate to get everybody who works here. Coming up in about 32 minutes from now, Owen Watterson from our own staff is going to join us. He's been covering Clemson spring football for us. We'll talk to him a little bit about what he's seen and he has heard so far. Lonzo, I think I'm a relatively self-confident person. Relatively, not always. I've got my insecurities like everybody else.
Yeah, but good luck finding them. So yes, you are confidence personified. When Rob walks in a room, like, yeah, that guy knows who he is. There we go. Bask in his glory.
Bask in my glory. However, I've got my insecurities, right? I try not to let them come to the surface too often, but sometimes you can't help it. Last week,
Because say, whereas I have just been compared to the comic book guy from The Simpsons. So I mean, there's that.
Lonzo did not have insecurities until Chase on the Facebook stream said he looks like the comic book guy from The Simpsons. Man. So I've got my insecurities. They happen. Can I be vulnerable with you for a moment, ladies and gentlemen? Can I be vulnerable with you for just a minute? One of the insecurities that I have dealt with in my life is a situation called imposter syndrome. I'd ask Lonzo, but he's over there creeping on the Facebook stream and making us all feel uncomfortable. Imposter syndrome is something that I have dealt with in the past. Basically, it is it's like an internal thought process that leads you to believe that you are not as good at what you do as others perceive you to be, right? Well, I've been doing this job 15 years. Lonzo and I just won a trophy last year that says, hey, you are doing a good job, Rob. And there are still days that I go, I don't know if I'm good enough to do this.
Hey, man, you can't steal my phobia. Every day I think, okay, they're finally going to figure out why is
I
he
don't know
here?
what the hell I'm doing.
Why is he here?
Yeah.
What he does not need to be
Yeah.
here anymore.
It's called imposter syndrome, and it's a genuine thing I've dealt with in the past, right? There are days that I go, why do they pay me to do this? I am terrible at this job. And one of the things that triggers that for me sometimes is Lonzo and I, and this may shock you, sometimes we get off topic a little bit. Sometimes we bring up stuff that is not even sports related, but it's just like, I get done with the conversation. I'm like, what the hell did we talk about on that air? That was not a good idea, right? Who wanted to listen to that? Who needed to hear that? Nobody but me. I'm self-serving. I'm bad at this job. It happens all the time.
Those are my favorite moments of the show.
I'm
But
sure they are. I'm sure. I mean, look, I never hate them. I always enjoy what we're doing. And then we get done and the segment ends and I'm like, that was a really bad idea. And if I get called to the principal's office after this, I would understand why.
But you need to understand that if that would happen, it's all my fault. So I would be the one to get, why would you do that? Why did you take him off topic? It's your fault, Lonzo.
So here's why I say this. Because we do those random topics that come up out of nowhere, right? That are just completely off the script. The Icelandic Penile Museum is one example that's
yeah, but that was real world experience for you. You actually were you knew people who just
Who were
went
there,
there.
yeah.
I think that's a public service announcement. People didn't know that place existed. And in case they have interest, now they know where to go.
If somebody booked their trip to Iceland to the Penile Museum, they will thank us for it. So we do these segments that I just or Jerry Jones, the lawsuit against JJ from his long lost affair daughter, right? Like we have these random segments that I get done and I'm like, it may have been funny, but it was a bad idea. Well, Lonzo, we are not alone. Shaq is here with us. Because last night.
All right, I gotta say that right there, that was probably
a bad idea.
That was probably a bad idea.
I regret that. Regret that immediately.
I made sure I didn't make eye contact during that one. I didn't want to have anything to do with that.
So last night in clip number 2, if you don't mind, please, Lonzo, The NBA on TNT, the NBA on TNT studio show, which I have told you guys dozens of times, is my favorite sports studio show, right? I think it's an incredible studio show. I think they do a great job. It is the perfect mix of analytical and entertaining. I think you got to have a mix, right? If you are just a debate show who screams at each other, you're entertaining, but not analytical. If you get the nerds who just sit there and crunch numbers for 3 hours, you're analytical, but not necessarily entertaining, and there is a difference. I think you got to have the perfect mix of analytical and entertaining, and that's what we try to do on this show. Sometimes you just get a little weird. And the NBA on TNT showed us that when they took a solid 2 consecutive minutes, which in our business, 2 minutes is a long time, right? If we run a 2-minute sound clip on this show, it had better be good. It had better be a compelling 2-minute clip, or the boss is going to go, hey, do not run 2-minute clips again. We have bet. Rob Manfred's quote from earlier was like $1.40, and I was very nervous about running it the whole time. All right. Lonzo probably already thinking that was too much Rob Manfred. And he's probably right.
I'm also thinking it was twice as long as you just said it was.
Was it longer than that?
Yes,
I
it
don't remember.
was.
All I did was edit it and put it in.
Yeah, it was 2.5 minutes.
Oh, perfect.
Actually.
So, yeah, I'll probably get called out for that later. But the point is, you better have compelling time. 2 minutes for Shaq, Kenny, and Ernie and Chuck to have this discussion on the air during a game.
Do you think there are more doors or wheels in the world?
That's a great, actually,
It's not a great question.
it is. It's just a
It's
question when
been
you're drinking too
sweeping
much.
TikTok, apparently, also that question.
That actually is a good question.
I would say
Doors,
there's more wheels in the world.
Why do you say doors?
because I think there's more buildings in the world than cars.
About bikes and tricycles.
Oh, good point.
Motorcycles, mopeds,
Good point.
scooters,
Yeah,
shopping
mate,
carts.
stop asking dumb questions.
Yeah, but think about what's in a house.
Wheels.
What's in a building. Not
Well,
just,
we all
not
don't
just
live in
the-
20-room
No.
mansions like you.
No, but just not
Yeah,
just
Ernie
the-
and Ken, when you grew in the project, there's a door on every
There's only-
bedroom,
no,
right?
there's only one door.
The cupboard
In and out.
doors count?
Yeah, what I'm saying,
Ooh.
do doors to
How many
bedrooms
doors in
count?
this building?
Door to a microwave, the
Yeah.
door to the oven.
Well, now how about this? I think they're talking about regular doors,
A door to a room?
not cabinets.
What about what about
not
a front
cabinet.
door? What about
And I think they're talking about car wheels.
Well,
That's
they're
true.
not, but they're not saying that specifically.
So if they were
There are
saying
more
those
doors
two,
or more
I would
wheels.
still go with wheels because most people who have there's 4 wheels.
Well, not everybody has 8 cars
No,
like
but-
you either, Kenny.
No, but there's 4 wheels for every car. There's not necessarily 4 doors for every home.
But is there a door on every room is the question.
Yes, and there's a closet door.
Closet door.
Ooh, see
Yeah.
there?
See, there are a lot. It's a.
Ooh.
Anyway,
It must be late.
glad we solved that. What do you think, Mister?
It must
what
be
do you
late,
think,
America.
Mister? The moon is
Wheels.
the moon is closer than the
Wheels.
West Coast.
More wheels.
I think there's more doors now.
There's definitely more wheels.
I think there's more doors.
Wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, solved. All right.
Can I get 30 minutes of Shaq just listing things that have wheels? Cars, motorcycles, scooters, mopeds, tricycles. Like just, oh, that's amazing.
Don't forget shopping carts. Yeah.
Shopping carts.
This is
machines.
This is a very compelling question.
Hot
and,
Wheels.
And I think it does come down to what you consider a door. And
wheelie shoes,
I mean, because cabinet, it's cabinet doors,
office chairs,
closet doors.
wagons,
All right, answer the question, Rob.
shopping carts.
Which one is it?
Hang on, I'm listing all the things that have wheels as Shaq. It's amazing. Like, I don't know. I don't care. Here's what I know. You guys just listen to what? About $1.41 of Shaq, Kenny, Chuck, and Ernie listing things that have wheels and doors, right? Making fun of each other for having more wheels and doors things than the average American and getting nowhere. That's amazing. That isn't a Lonzo. I laughed my rear end off at that. It was incredible And then it got done. And I went, maybe I'm okay. Like, maybe I'm okay.
There you go. Yeah. I mean, I love stuff like that too. That always makes me think, okay, yeah, there are people out there just like me
Ah.
who like to do that sort of thing, who just go totally a different direction. You find your way back.
These four dudes love basketball, right? They put on one of the best basketball shows I've ever seen. They're analytical. They know the game. They break down the X's and O's. They break down the human side of basketball. And then they take 2 minutes to ask, does the world have more doors or wheels? Take a solid 45 seconds of that to list all the things that have wheels and all the things that have doors, put them together, and try to answer that question collectively.
And see, here's the thing, because you played that clip and we're discussing this, people will be out and about today and this weekend, and this will pop in their mind going, there's a door, there's a door,
Yeah.
there's a door, there are wheels.
I did not realize how many things had wheels. Thank you, Shaq.
Yeah, Steven just mentioned hamster wheels, which also makes me think of Ferris wheels. I mean, what actually counts as a wheel or a door?
But you got a Ferris wheel, but there's like 30 carts on a Ferris wheel, and every one of those has 2 doors.
Or at least one.
So Ferris wheel, by definition, is adding to the door argument, right? And this was 3 minutes of their nationally televised basketball broadcast was how many doors versus how many windows in the world. Texas says, I gotta disagree. That's what makes the show special, the randomness. Now, when can we talk about the greatest boy bands again? That segment came to my mind, right? The fact that somebody dropped a 98 degrees line on the show, and then it escalated into how many boy band song puns can we come up with in 30 minutes? But now, when somebody goes, Rob, your show's too random. Hashtag stick to sports. Stop talking about dumb stuff. I can go, you know what? Never once in my professional career did I consider a segment where I asked the audience, are there more doors or wheels in the world? Also, Lonzo, I'm going wheels. I'm going wheels. And I'm considering a gear a wheel, right? So a car's got 4 tires, but it's got like 50 wheels in the engine, plus the 4 tires.
Some cars also have 4 doors.
Right. But it's got, I mean, if I count a gear as a wheel, which I think I can.
A tailgate's
the argument.
not a door, though. It's a gate.
I
So
would,
that
I
doesn't
would, I
count.
would let
Would you
accept
count
that.
a gate as a door?
I would say it is, right?
So like walking through a fence, the gate
It's
is
a
the
door.
fence? Okay.
Absolutely, it's
All
a
right.
door. I'm still going wheels, right?
So a doorway without a door connected, though, that's just a doorway and not a door.
Texter says, Rob, I believe you guys are safe as long as you never discuss oh, wait, never mind. Texter says, my son has 48 Hot Wheels monster trucks and 67 Hot Wheels. So I'm saying wheels.
Yeah, but all those Hot Wheels have doors on them.
If it doesn't open, it's not a door.
No, it's still a door. It's painted. It's
No,
you look at it
It
and
doesn't
go,
open by
look,
definition. Door. It's a faux door, but it's not a door. A door has to open and allow access between a boundary. See this. I did not want this to turn into the discussion of doors versus wheels. That was not the point.
why not? This is a fascinating survey. I mean, because I think no 2 people will come up with the same thing. And I'm going with doors. I'm going with doors. I
The
think they're more
point of
doors.
this, America, was that those of you that have hit me with the hashtag stick to sports line, when we've gotten a little off the rails sometimes, which, by the way, trains.
In the history of mankind, doors existed before wheels.
But how many are there today? Not historically, today. This is not what we're doing here. The point was when you hit me with a stick to sports thing, I'm just going to deflect you back to Shaq, counting the number of things that he knows that has wheels. Grocery carts, trains. I'm running out of things with wheels. I just realized Shaq listed most of them. Texter says, please back the bass off your microphones. Both of you are way over the top today. That was my Shaquille O'Neal impression.
Yeah.
Was that one or two this week?
I think that's two.
I think that's two.
two. That's still not bad for an entire week. My voice normally it's kind of low unless I'm singing. So, I mean.
All right. We got to take a break. When we come back here in just a minute from right now, we've got Texas says the difference between you and Shaq is gigantic. Shaq can get another job. You may not be able to. When we come back, we're going to take a look at some of the top available free agents in Major League Baseball who are now up on the market to be signed by other teams. Now that Major League Baseball and the Players Association have an agreement. That's coming up next on the Rob Brown Show. This is ESPN Upstate. That's it. That's all I'm going to do. Bye.
Prisma.
Say about my friends at Prisma Health, ladies and gentlemen. Prisma Health located around the upstate. And when I say around the upstate, I mean get on an interstate, like not literally, metaphorically. Get on an interstate and just drive in a direction. I can almost guarantee you that within just a handful of minutes, you're going to come across a Prisma healthcare facility. And the reason why is Prisma knows that when you are in need of healthcare, ladies and gentlemen, you want to make sure that not only do you have your choice of doctor, a doctor that you like, a doctor that you trust, a doctor that works well for you and your family. And not only does that doctor have access to the most up-to-date information, technology, and knowledge for whatever your healthcare need is, but you want to make sure it's convenient too, right? Like there is nothing worse than having to take a whole day of work off because you got to drive to the other side of the state for a doctor's appointment. That's why Prisma Health has facilities located around the upstate to make sure that when you are in need of medical care, there is someone and somewhere that is close to you, convenient to you, reliable, knowledgeable, and accessible. That is why the Gamecocks of South Carolina, the Tigers of Clemson, all collectively use Prisma Health as their official healthcare provider. And if they trust Prisma with the health and well-being of their athletes, don't you think you can trust Prisma with the health and well-being of your family as well? I think you can. And that's why you need to go to prismahealth.org. Prismahealth.org. You can see all their locations. You can find the doctor that's right for you, and you can get yourself set up with an appointment for our friends at Prisma Health right here in the upstate. Our text line is now just people sending in list of things that have doors and wheels. That's the entire screen.
Good. Here's the goal. You know, when you get this much text, and if they continue through 3 o'clock, then Charlie will pick up on it, and then it will just go forever.
I love it. I want Diesel to get in here and just walk into a screen of text that only are saying things that have doors.
Oh, they'll just make fun of it. Yeah, because they're better than doors and wheels.
Helping you beat the book with BetQL. It's the final day of the regular season in the MAC. Northern Illinois hosts Ohio, and on paper, the Huskies are bad. Overall, this year they've been among the worst offenses in reviews in college basketball. But in conference play, they've kept closest to the middle of the pack. Northern Illinois has covered the number in 7 straight games against the spread.
You're the one everyone looks to for answers. Come rain or shine, the job must get done, and you're the one who makes it happen. We get you, Jackie in Fresno, putting your employee safety first. And Manny in Chattanooga, whose local Granger team knows him by name. We're here for you and all the ones who get it done, with 24/7 customer support and access to product specialists to help you find what you need. Call Granger.com or just stop by. Granger, for the one.
Some things never change, like your kids always leaving tiny toys on the floor for you to step on, and Geico saving folks lots of money on their car insurance.
Sweetie, I think I left the downstairs light on.
Please don't make me jump. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Whoever said the more the merrier, she wasn't in charge of hiring new employees, because the more unqualified candidates you have for a job, the more difficult your hiring can be. And that can make the process, well, not so merry for you. Thankfully, there's ZipRecruiter, which you can try right now for free at ZipRecruiter.com/hire. ZipRecruiter's powerful technology finds the right candidates for your job. But unlike other sites, ZipRecruiter goes deeper. ZipRecruiter matches people with people, and you can personally invite your top choices to apply, because the perfect hire is more than a list of qualifications. It's an individual. ZipRecruiter makes hiring the right person easy, and that'll keep you and everyone else very merry.
4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try ZipRecruiter for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/hire. That's right, free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/hire. ZipRecruiter.com/hire.
Anyone who has ever needed self-storage knows what a hassle it can be. You have to rent or borrow a truck and then find someone to help you move your stuff. And let's face it, moving furniture and heavy items without damaging them isn't easy. Renting a unit is worse. The hidden fees and admin costs are scarier than the days and days you're leaving your stuff in. Why not choose Closet Box instead? Closet Box is self-storage without leaving home. They'll pick up your belongings, store them securely, and bring any item back when you need it. The best part, unlike traditional self-storage, you only pay for what you store. No pay for unused storage space. Closet Box's background check storage movers are licensed, bonded, and insured, and will take care of all of the heavy lifting. Closet Box's local storage centers are temperature controlled and monitored 24/7. Closet Box has an A+ rating from the BBB. Call 877-233-5696 now for the season's best rates. Get $50 off first month storage using code radio. That's 877-233-5696. 877-233.
Whatever it is, we'll have to wait.
It will, because I can't remember it. I'd like to thank you guys sarcastically. The text line.
Like you didn't know it was going to happen.
I knew it was going to. So I'm not surprised. The text line is a valuable part of our show, right? Like, it's a really simple method of communication, because a lot of people have something to say, but like, you don't want to call into the show for one sentence, right? And the text line's really cool because just about everybody can send a text now. So you can send a text to 71307 and make your voice heard in a sentence or two, right? The text line's incredibly valuable, and I can't tell you how many times the boss, sat down to the boss man to discuss analytics, and he's like, you got X many texts this day at this time. What was that segment? Can we build on that, right? They look at that to see where the engagement's coming from. Why am I 0% surprised, Lonzo, that the entire text screen right now, which is a monitor, but it's like a big monitor from top to bottom, is nothing but you guys sending in texts like these? Refrigerators and stuff like that have wheels. Golf carts, roller coasters. Most appliances have wheels. How many holes does a shirt have? Does that count? There's a boatload of mailbox stores, walkers, planes, wheelchairs, wheelbarrow. My son has 48 Hot Wheels monster trucks and 67 Hot Wheels. So I'm going, the entire text line is just list of things that have doors and wheels that we did not think of last segment.
And all
Incredible.
I hear is the majority of people agreeing with me that there's more doors than wheels.
Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. I love you guys. I love you guys, right? Lunza, have you noticed the text line explodes most when we don't do sports, right? When we don't do sports.
Well, don't give off the impression that we don't get sports takes, because we
How do we do?
We do, in case someone's listening going, okay, well, that just proves that, when you talk sports, you don't get reaction. That's not true. It's just that people tune in to hear sports, and then they hear something like that, and they're like, oh, man, I got to be a part of that.
Mike Stathakis said to me one time, we were having a conversation about this, because I told him anytime that we do a food segment, right? Where's the best hot dog? Is Duke's Mayo really that much better? Whenever we do a food segment, text line explodes every time. And he said, I have a theory why. He said, because people who tune into sports radio, yes, they want to hear sports, right? But the thing is, a lot of times, unless you're talking about the one thing that they are the biggest fan of, right? If I'm talking Clemson basketball, he's going, most people don't really intimately know Clemson basketball, so they're not going to call in because they either don't disagree or agree with what you're saying, or they just don't have a take at all. They're just listening to be entertained. But food is the great universal connector, right? Everybody has to eat.
I could say really quick to Stephen, a lid is a doorway to your food.
Fair question, but I'd also say it's round and spins to accomplish something, right?
But they're around.
No,
they're
no.
around.
Not let you do this.
Have you ever been?
No. But the point is, I love you guys for this reason. All right. For the Stick to Sports crowd, let's do that. Major League Baseball hits their agreement last night. There is a collective bargaining agreement official signing today. Tony Clark's press conference should be happening soon. If we get it before the end of the day, then I'll give you some sound from that if we can wrangle it up. And that means it's contract time, ladies and gentlemen. Free agents can start signing right now. And the big thing the Braves are asking now is, will Freddie Freeman be an Atlanta Brave once again? At the end of the postseason last year, when the Atlanta Braves won the 2021 World Series, it was almost assumed that Freddie Freeman was going to be an Atlanta Brave once again. But then the lockout started, 99 days of it. And in that time, people are not so sure anymore if Freddie Freeman is going to be a Brave or not, right? Not so sure. It's unclear. And I will tell you this, Freddie Freeman is the biggest name in the free agency market. Now, there are some other really good names on that list. Carlos Correa is on that list. There's going to be some teams that are pushing for him. The Yankees on that list. Chris Bryant is on that list. Trevor Story is on that list. There are some big name free agents on the list, but Freddie Freeman might be the linchpin to all of this happening. In fact, I think you may see a holdup on names like Bryant, Correa, and Story signing because teams are waiting to see what happens with Freddie Freeman. Most people have been working under the assumption he would be an Atlanta Brave once again. That's not necessarily true. We know that the Yankees are interested. We know that the Dodgers are interested at this point. They lost Corey Seager to free agency. We know that Chicago is interested, right? There are some teams that are interested in Freddie Freeman as a potential free agent. And where he lands might very well dictate where the rest of these guys go. Freddie Freeman we thought was going to be a Brave for life, right? He's Chipper Jones Volume 2.0. That dude who starts and ends in Atlanta and becomes a Braves legend. And now that he's got a World Series, he absolutely would be. But it's not a guarantee for one reason. Those other teams, especially now that the luxury tax ceiling is higher, the Yankees have more money to send. The LA Dodgers have now more money to send to Freddie Freeman's bank account should he elect that making money is his priority. And again, I wouldn't fault him if he does. But this went from, and I'm not going to blame the lockout, but I will place some of the blame on the lockout. Freddie Freeman had time to think, right? He had time to think. The more time you have to really think about a decision that you have to make, the better chance that you'll make the right decision is. And Freddie Freeman's had time to think. Now, I'm not saying that Atlanta is or is not the right decision for Freddie Freeman. I don't know where his priorities lie, right? If Freddie Freeman wants to be a legacy player, a guy that is remembered forever and ever, amen, it's Randy Travis, then yes, Atlanta's a spot. But if you, like me, believe that the number of zeros in the bank account matters, the Dodgers might be the right call. The Yankees might be the right call. You go to the Yankees and win a World Series, you're absolutely a legend, right? If he goes to the Yankees and wins a World Series, he will forever be remembered as one of the guys that brought a World Series back to Atlanta. Sure. And that's a regional win that will never be forgotten across the Southeast. That is something that we as lifelong Braves fans will talk about forever. But if he goes to the Yankees and the Yankees claw back and the Yankees win a World Series and Freddie Freeman's a part of that, he goes down in national baseball lore. He becomes a Yankees legend. Look what that did for A-Rod. Look what that did for Jeter, right? Those guys were able to take their captaincy of the New York Yankees and their success with the Yankees and transform it into post-career success. That's been incredible for both of them, right? That's part of the reason that one of the few places I pushed back against the players was the luxury tax threshold going up. Because that really only impacts a few teams. The teams that don't care about hitting the luxury tax, teams like Cleveland, teams like Tampa, teams like Miami, they are not going to pay more to keep up, right? They're not going to pay more to keep up. They're going to keep doing exactly what they have been doing, which is unfortunate. The only teams it impacts are the teams that are already consistently at the top of the league. It doesn't help parity. It hurts parity, which is why that's one of the few places I push back against the players. I know that you believe that the luxury tax going up means that there will be more money on the table across the league for players to have invested in them. And you might be right. But it does so at the risk of sacrificing parity in Major League Baseball. The Yankees and the Dodgers and the teams that have owners that DGAF about the tax roll limits, they now get to pay less of a penalty to build super teams. And while I'm not against the premise of a super team, super teams diminish parity across the leagues, right? They just do. So that was why I pushed back there. Anyway, we'll see what Freddie Freeman wants to do. When we come back here in just a minute, do a very short segment coming up, and then Owen Watterson is going to join us. He's been covering Clemson's spring football practice. We'll see what his thoughts on where the Tigers are next. Not next. Short segment, then Owen on the Rob Brown Show, ESPN Upstate.
Well, I can't edit Sports Center because it says it's 6 minutes long, but when I click on the file, it's only 1 minute long. So I'm getting what I edited an hour ago. I'm not getting the new stuff. And I even went to different cart numbers and then came back thinking, and it's weird. I'm worried it might affect something else, but so I can't do it if I can't do it. So just weird.
Check them out on Instagram and Facebook. Prescription products require online physician consultation and only available at physician terms. Prescription is appropriate subscription required. See website for full details and safety information.
Dealing with ED is difficult enough, but the pressure of not satisfying your partner makes it even worse. ED can be tough on a relationship, but at HIMSS, you can contact a medical provider online and, if appropriate, get the prescription medication that treats ED at affordable prices. HIMSS ED medication has the same active ingredient as Viagra, but because it's generic, you pay 90% less. That's right, 90% less. A whole month's supply is just $30, and it's sent right to your home for free in discreet packaging. HIMSS offers the same medication you get from your doctor, but without the copay, expensive appointments, or awkward face-to-face conversations. And with HIMSS, every online visit is free, and your relationship right back on track. For a free online consultation, go to forhims.com/joy. That's forhims.com/joy for your free visit. forhims.com/joy.
You could save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive. But when we just come out and say it, it feels like it falls a bit flat. So we're going to use humor.
This has been such a blowout. We just barely paid
I know,
attention
it's
to
not
it.
even.
And you need to avoid any polarizing topics.
Oh, and the big man.
You know what? Maybe humor is a bad idea. I have something to work. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates. Discount not available in all states or situations.
Get help managing your money for the life and years ahead with Fidelity Income Planning. Look at what you save, what you'll need. Build a flexible plan for cash flow designed to last, so you can go from.
But Auburn plays good down the stretch, so it's not over.
Making moves is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs.
Yeah, there's still a lot of time. Harley in the next break.
Good pass. Got to knock that down. Nice. Harley next, you said?
Yes.
Build your winning team today. Go to linkedin.com/sports.
Every team is one conversation away from a trade that can make all the difference. The same is true for your business. That's why when you post a job for free, LinkedIn Jobs taps into a network of over 770 million professionals to find the right people for your role. LinkedIn Jobs helps you narrow down to only the most qualified candidates, which means you can start hiring the right people faster. Go to linkedin.com/sports to post your job for free. That's linkedin.com/sports. Terms and conditions apply. We're trophy hosts. Sorry. Trophy winning hosts. The English Sports Station in South Carolina.
The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is ESPN Upstate. Quick little segment here before we get to Owen Watterson coming up in the next segment. He's been covering Clemson spring football practice for us. So we are going to chat with him a little bit about what he has seen. The Denver Broncos are up for sale. And there's a lot of different entities that are interested in purchasing that particular National Football League franchise. John Elway has reportedly been in the mix. There's a number of other big-time athletes, including one guy who still might be an active NFL player. I don't exactly know. By the way, A&M is up. How many points is that, Lonzo?
That's 20.
20?
Yes, that's 20.
Oh, my brain just blanked. 20
I mean,
points.
I could see it. I could see a break. It's like, okay.
The 8 seed is 8.5 minutes away from upsetting the 1 seed in the SEC. A&M up 59-39 on Auburn right now. Texas A&M 500 in Southeastern Conference play. Auburn 15-3. One game is all that matters here, boys. So one NFL player who may or may not still be active, we don't 100% know yet, that is interested in buying the Denver Broncos, Lonzo, is Antonio Brown. Now, Antonio Brown by himself does not have enough money to buy the Denver Broncos. It's going to cost like $1 billion. All right. Like a lot of money to buy the Denver Broncos. So he needs a partner. And he has found one, Lonzo. Antonio Brown has now said that he is interested in purchasing the Broncos with a business partner named Kanye West.
That ought to do it.
Ye and AB owning the Denver Broncos. You know, Kanye had some transformative music back in the day. Kanye's also weird. AB had some stellar football in him back in the day. But AB has gone off the deep end. And here's what I have to say about that purchase, Lonzo. Please let it happen. Please let it happen. I would love to see what the Denver Broncos look like when Antonio, here's my jersey, I quit Brown, and Kanye, I wear weird things in public because paparazzi, West, get together and buy a team. Please let it happen.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. The NFL has to approve the sale. Would they ever approve that sale?
Not to Antonio Brown. I doubt it.
I'm not sure they do to Kanye either because of the weirdness, I guess.
I think they do for Kanye because Kanye's got legions of fans that
But
become Denver Broncos
I was
fans
gonna
if
say,
he owns the team.
on the other hand, though, Kanye has proven to be a pretty good businessman.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, granted, Kanye could kick a puppy into traffic and his fans would justify it, right?
Yeah, but that's,
the
I
point's the
mean,
point.
there are a lot of fandoms like that, though.
All right, last three texters that have come in. Texter says, today is a bad day for the stick to sports crowd. Texter says, hey, Rob, junkyards. There's lots of tires there. And the last texter says,
Wait. I just want to say that. Go ahead.
And the last texter says, hand truck wheels. Think of all the deliveries.
What's
What
a
if they're
what's
delivering doors?
What's a hand truck?
Like a dolly.
Thank you. That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted.
Can we? Owen Watterson used the wheels on his car to enter the doors of the Clemson practice facility. He's been covering Clemson spring practice for us. We'll get some of his thoughts on where the Tigers are next on the Rob Brown Show. This is ESPN Upstate. You know what has two wheels? Motorcycles. And if you go to Harley-Davidson of Greenville, there's lots of wheels right there at the dealership. Why? Because they have the largest pre-owned inventory of motocicletas across the entire upstate, ladies and gentlemen. And right now, if you are looking to get onto the back of a 2021 Harley, it is the best time to do it because the 2022s are on the way. And with the 2022s on the way, the 2021's got to go. They got to make room in that beautiful, incredibly clean, spotless and organized showroom at 30 Chrome Drive in Greenville. So you are going to get the deal of a lifetime on a 2021 Harley, brand new, because they just got to have it gone to get the 2022s in there, ladies and gentlemen. The bike of your dreams is at Harley-Davidson of Greenville. I want you to shut your eyes and think of yourself rolling up through the Blue Ridge, rolling around downtown. What do you see yourself riding on? Little cafe cruiser? You looking to jump on the back of a big hog? Maybe a touring roadster to make yourself as comfortable as you can up and down the Blue Ridge? Harley-Davidson of Greenville has got it for you. And with their Harley certified technicians, they can build it to be exactly what you want it to be. See the entire inventory online at upstateharley.com. Upstateharley.com. It's our friends at Harley-Davidson of Greenville.
Owen is saying he can't hear anything on hold, which technically you should be able to hear the station when you're on hold.
I was going to say, you should be able to hear us, right?
Yeah. So text him back to see if he can hear anything now. Yeah, text me back. I guess I could just jump on there. Hey, did you hear anything now while you're on hold? Okay, all right. That's just weird. I'll send a email to engineering because you should be able to hear something on hold. All right, I'll put you on hold again just because it's fun.
Starting at $17 an hour and material handler at $18 an hour with a $500 sign-up.
Texas says it's a dolly up north, though. It's a hand truck down here.
By the way, I know that.
I know.
I just wondered if you did. That's all that was about. Do you know? Because you being from Florida, they may only talk about it one way there.
No,
But
it's always been a dolly where I'm from.
but Florida is full of people from up north. So,
Yeah, Florida's the north of the south.
right.
That
so-
south the peninsula. No, yeah, peninsula
It's
of
a
Florida
peninsula, yeah.
is the north of the south. The Panhandle is rednecky as it gets.
And technically not a peninsula, it's still part of the yeah. Never really thought about it that way, but you're absolutely right. Talking about the peninsula.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they're within 12 now.
I told you Auburn will make a run at him.
Twitter is not my friend today.
No
I mean, as far as finding,
topics.
yeah, I will be. I got another hour. Tay Conti keeps trending, but why she's trending, I really don't want to talk about. So,
Why is she trending?
apparently talking a lot about what goes on in the bedroom between her and Sammy.
Oh no! It wasn't the bedroom. I saw that people were calling her out because I guess because Sammy had left his
No,
fiance.
it's that too.
Oh, but she took it.
Yeah. It's that
Okay.
too. And she just texted Brandy and Cody and asked them when they're coming back because she's tired of taking all the heat they used to get. That's what she said. Well, if Sammy hadn't proposed to his girlfriend
Yeah,
in the ring and made it all visible,
Made it a thing.
yeah. He's, of course, not been known to make the best choices when it comes to.
He's freaking young, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
know.
I'm not making excuses for that one.
Yeah, but
particular-
after this, no, I'm talking about like after the stuff he said about Sasha. and
Yeah.
things like that. So.
All right, we got about 8 minutes here with Owen Watterson from ESPN Upstate. Oh, that's us, who's been covering Clemson spring football for us and drove up there the other night. Let's start, Owen. First off, hi, but let's start with this. You got the chance to drive up on Wednesday to the open portion and go to Dabo's press conference. Just overall thoughts on what you heard. What you've been able to see as far as spring practices so far. Just an update for the Clemson fans listening. What you got for us?
Well, first of all, Dabo is as eccentric as ever, and it would lead a lot of folks who haven't listened to him before to believe that everything is all peachy keen all the time in Clemson, South Carolina, which for the past 5, 6, 7 years it has been up until last year. But regardless, Dabo was still candor as always, talking about on Wednesday specifically. I told Mark this the other day as well, that he said it was DJ's best day of practice ever. Not just this spring, not last spring, ever. He said he was 16 of 18, looked as sharp as can be, and he didn't have much bad to say about Cade Klubnik either. You know, there's been a misquote going around, I believe, from this very press conference I was standing right beside Sweeney at, talking about comparing Mr. Klubnik to Deshaun Watson, but he more so meant in the sense of their frames as a freshman. I was talking to other media members about this as well, and they compared him to Deshaun in his stature as a freshman before Dabo even did the same thing. But he was not so much talking about his play style. He also liked to call Cade a German Shepherd in terms of how much he's always looking for the next thing to learn. He's retaining information very well, and he's always looking for the next thing he can pick up and excel himself at in terms of, becoming a better quarterback and a better man, because he takes the same approach in the classroom from what Dabo says as well. So in general, things really seem to be good despite all the staff turnaround. Dabo, again, was very eccentric in talking about how well that's gone. The players have been throughout spring practice as well. So things really seem to be good.
Owen Watterson joining us here on the show, and I wanted to talk about that. I mean, I've heard nothing but good things about DJ. Now, granted, we heard nothing about DJ, nothing but good things about DJ last year before the regular season rolled around, and he had, I think it's fair to call a disappointing year, but showed up down 15 or 16 pounds this year, from what I've understand, has been seen putting a little more finesse on the football. Now, the practices have been largely open only for a few minutes to the media to view, but the folks I've seen said that he looks like a different guy. He's down. He looks more athletic. He's got some touch to the football. What thoughts you got on what we have seen? And again, it's been limited, but what we've seen out of DJ Uiagalelei this spring so far.
I would agree with what most other media members are saying. As soon as they let us into practice the other day, obviously they're no longer doing open portions of practice. I believe throughout the past couple of weeks up until March 7th, they were doing media could view either a certain amount of practice periods or 20 minutes of practice. I can't remember exactly which one off the top of my head, but even walking in yesterday, of course, we weren't allowed to watch practice, but they were finishing up things inside the Poe indoor facility. And at the end of every practice, they'll do sprints from one side of the field across to the other. And even in just looking at that, DJ Uiagalelei is one of the first down, and he's one of the first back every time, despite his 6'5", probably almost 235-pound frame now. He is down a little bit. He looks slimmer. And one of the things that really caught my eye about DJ last year, hearing him talk in spring practice, was his confidence, the poise that he has about everything that he does. He was always talking about how the moment doesn't ever bother him. And we saw last season, if that wasn't the case, you wouldn't have known by how he played. 9 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. It's just not what you expected from him, or any of us did, really. But the mental game, Dabo can't talk about enough, and how much better he's gotten there. He's never going to be the most big-spoken person. He's never going to be your most outspoken leader on the field. In fact, I'd say Will Shipley is a lot more vocal of a leader already inside that team than DJ Uiagalelei might ever be, but he likes to let his actions speak far louder than his words. And if he didn't have any motivation going into last year with all the talk about him being, the heir apparent to Trevor Lawrence, he sure as heck does now after how bad he played last year. And he's got Cade Klubnik nipping on his heels. Listen, Dabo said that he's probably going to be about 200 almost at least come August when it's time to play. And if Cade does get up to that size, I mean, that would be a massive movement, almost 15, 20 pounds that he would have added since time as an early enrollee to start of the season. And if he's at that playing weight and he looks strong, poised in the pocket, we'll get to see a little bit of that here in the spring game coming up here shortly. He's going to be nipping on his heels all season. We know Dabo likes to stick with his guys, but I would not knock out the idea of Cade being able to come in right away if DJ slips up.
Owen Watterson joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. And obviously we had a lot of folks, Owen, during this offseason say, if DJ is going to do the same thing, Cade's ready to go. Like, he's a start-ready guy. He is ready to just plug and play, etc. Paul Bear Ryan said years ago, for every true freshman you start, you can count that as a loss, especially if it's at quarterback. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know where Cade Klubnik is. Have we gotten enough eyes on that kid to justify the confidence that Clemson fans want to put in him?
Oh, that's hard to say. Early returns in spring practice would indicate yes, but I'm trying to be hesitant when I say that, because early returns of DJ Uiagalelei in spring practice last year said the same thing, that he was going to be ready to live up to the preseason, not Heisman favorite, but he was a preseason Heisman finalist for sure, and he didn't come anywhere close to that. And I want people to pump the brakes just a little bit. But the thing about Cade that gets me excited that DJ doesn't have, it seemed last year necessarily, DJ has always had the size. to be an elite quarterback. He's always had the athleticism, just the stature in general. Cade may not have that at 6'1", under 200 pounds at this moment still. But the mental game for Cade Klubnik, as far as reading a defense, I mean, we saw it at Westlake High School in Texas. I think it was the state championship game. I was speaking to David Hood about this as well before Dabo and Phil Maffa ended up coming up and talking to the media, that in that state championship game, there was a possession. He gets his 5-step drop back, goes to his first read, not there. Second read, not there. Third read, not there. The tight end was late on a little Texas route coming across the middle. And Cade was able to progress all the way back to his first read and complete a 20-yard pass, I believe it was. I mean, that kind of stuff, even at a high school level, is hard to do, processing defenses at a high level. And if that translates whatsoever, I don't think the size is going to be a problem.
Owen Watterson from ESPN Upstate's been covering Clemson spring football for us. Owen, my man, appreciate you, big dog. Thanks for going up there, and we will get you back on next week to keep breaking this stuff down, partner. Appreciate it.
Sounds good, man. You have a good day, Rob.
You got it, pal. That's Owen Watterson, covers the Clemson spring practices for us. Remember, next Tuesday, South Carolina starts their spring practice. Corey Diaz from the Greenville News will join us on Monday. We'll give you a list of spring practice narratives that we'll be keeping an eye on. When we come back, we got some more baseball discussions to have. Fanboy Friday at 2:20, where Lonzo bring all the stuff we talked. We did a segment and a half of windows versus or doors versus is a window a door? Is a window a door?
If it opens and it's the only way in and out of something.
But doesn't a door have to allow you to easily walk through? I'm not doing this anymore.
What's the definition of a door?
Back after this on the Rob Brown Show, ESPN Upstate.
They end up losing to Mississippi State 73-51 to end their run in the SEC tournament, and now we will see whether or not they are going to have any opportunity for postseason play. Eric Stevenson scored 18 points in the loss. He knocked down 4 3-pointers, also ended up 5 assists. Devin Carter added 10 points in the game. The South Carolina women's basketball team, they're just waiting for the NCAA tournament selection show. Wofford basketball, they have already accepted an invitation to participate in the Basketball Classic. That's a 32-team tournament that will begin coming up next week. Download the Score app today. Lightning fast sports alerts so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. With your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, I'm Matt Pauley.
Have you heard Offsides with Mark Ryan?
If missing the tournament most years is good enough for you, Clemson and South Carolina, you have the right coaches. If not, you need different ones. Expect more, demand more. It really is that simple. Now, some said, and Tim Frisbee said, Mark, that's overly simplistic. Every team, every fan base wants to win. To a degree, but what happens in a lot of places is when you're not winning, you just have
Texter says, aren't doorknobs wheels that you turn? Checkmate, atheist.
Look at that, 5 points. It's a 5-point game.
Auburn is slinging threes from NBA territory right now, and it's working. The Tigers have taken a 20-point lead down to 5. There is a $1.56 left to play in this quarterfinal matchup between the Aggies and the War Eagle Tigers. And the number 1 overall seed is making a statement right now, but running out of time. Lonzo, March is awesome.
Yeah, that guy, they had turned around with confidence. He had no idea that was going in or not.
Oh, dude.
That was desperation because he could have kept going, but he knows they need threes, and he needs to take as little time off the clock as he could.
A&M led Florida by 16, but had to take them to OT and beat them on a buzzer beater. They were up 20 against Auburn, and there's a good chance this one goes to OT too. The Aggies might be tired when it's all said and done. $1.56 on the clock. A&M with the inbound, and Auburn, wow. A&M with the flush. They just left the lane to the basket open. If Auburn wins this game, if Auburn loses this game, they're gonna watch that play on replay with broken hearts later. That is rough. They just let old boy run right to the rack. I gotta watch on that. Can we replace this TV with like a 60-inch big screen, Lonzo? I'm spoiled. Auburn jacking up threes and misses another one. So a turnover.
Oh, you're talking about this one over here.
Yeah,
I was gonna say I'm already looking at it. I think a 60.
Watch this dude. Oh God, with violence. Jackson threw it down with a vengeance.
He made sure it went in the hoop, which
Like hard.
should have been done earlier. Yes.
Quentin Jackson, second team all SECer for the Aggies. And look, Auburn just on defense, Auburn is just like getting out of the way. They're just leaving passing lanes wide open. Bruce Pearl's going to have an aneurysm on the sideline. Down to $1.17. Aggies up now 7. He thought about it, Lonzo. He thought about the 3. He's like, nah, we don't need that right now. That would have been the dagger if he makes it, but we'll keep an eye on this. I'll tell you the final when we get there. Oh, takeaway for Auburn. Back the other way, straight to the layup. Pinned on the oh, no! Auburn, what are you doing? You had I tell you, Lonzo, there is not much that infuriates me quite as much as dumb basketball at big moments.
You know, the other thing is, where's a teammate running down the lane next to him? So he has no, he's behind him.
Yes, the leave. You give it to him on the leave.
Yeah, but you got to keep up. You got
know the guy on you is going up with you. Leave it for the big man trailing you and let him go flush it.
Right, but either slow down or tell that guy to go faster so he's at least in your field of vision. He doesn't know he's there. He does not know he's there.
Then you got bad court vision. You got to know you got a tail there. You got to know you got somebody trailing.
You know you need eyes in the back of your head because he was lumbering way behind him.
All right, we're inside of 50 seconds now. A&M just working the ball around the perimeter, and Auburn's finally going to foul, down 7. Green will give up 1 there. That is going to put the Aggies in the bonus, so we'll head to the stripe for 1-1 with 46.5 seconds left to play on the clock there. Today's basketball schedule is insane. It's insane. Our last game of the day tips off literally at midnight. 11:59 p.m. is it? Let me phrase that. It's listed as 11:59 p.m., but on the ESPN schedule, they had to put 11:59 instead of midnight on that one, because if they had it at midnight, it would have technically counted as a Saturday morning game, and it's a Friday nighter. But we got some big ones. Cincinnati taking on Houston right now in Fort Worth. LSU and Arkansas are about to get underway as well in the SEC tournament. Coming up on later, Mississippi State, who knocked out South Carolina, will take on Tennessee. That one's going to be in Tampa on this same floor as well. Creighton versus Providence, that's got potential. Sparty takes on Wisconsin later. TCU and Kansas. Miami and Duke at 7 o'clock. That could be a real good. That is an underappreciated game. The Miami Hurricanes are a fast team, and the one thing that has given Duke fits this year has been speed, right? Syracuse, Lil Boeheim, not Big Boeheim, Lil Boeheim was running circles around the Blue Devils, and it got them into trouble a couple of times yesterday. Duke got taken to the limit by Cuse. Miami's a quick team. I'm not saying that that Miami wins this game. I'm saying don't be shocked if the 4 seed knocks off the 1 seed in the ACC semis. Would not be shocked by that at all. Vanderbilt takes on Kentucky in the SEC later on tonight. Colorado at Arizona. How about a top 20 matchup? UConn at Villanova. That one's at 9 o'clock on FS1 out of Madison Square. Penn State and Purdue in the Big Ten. Big Ten's been crazy in the basketball tournament. Couple of big upsets in the Big Ten tournament. We're going to talk about that later. Maybe. Oklahoma, Texas Tech at 9:30. Virginia Tech and North Carolina. North Carolina has been breezing. They smoked Virginia. I mean, breezing through the ACC. We may very well be in line for an NC Duke showdown, which could be interesting. Those two just played a little while ago in Coach K's last game. If North Carolina gets another crack at Duke, I think they beat them again. Honestly, it's a good Duke team, but Carolina is built to beat Duke this year. Number 21 USC takes on number 13 UCLA in a game that I have to watch, Lonzo. That's a top 25 matchup in a tournament, and it tips at 11:30 tonight. And then we wrap it up with San Diego State and Colorado State tipping at midnight. Granted, that is 10 o'clock Mountain Time where they're playing this out in Las Vegas, but still a midnight tip. One game in the book so far today. Indiana knocks off number 16 Colorado State. How about that one? The Hoosiers. By the way, the Hoosiers may have punched it. I'm not saying they are in, but the Hoosiers were last in on Lenardi's bracketology, and that just helped a little bit, knocking off a top 16 Illini team. The Hoosiers probably going dancing after that, regardless of what happens left. Another win would guarantee it.
Wait a minute. Who did it? Indiana?
Indiana beat Illinois.
Okay, because you said Colorado State. Okay,
sorry.
So you confused me.
Colorado State's the team that's playing at midnight tonight.
Okay, yeah. It's because I'm just like, okay, when did this happen?
Here, let me for why I got confused. Let me show you what I'm looking at here, Lonzo. This is today's basketball schedule.
Yeah, I get it.
All of that is today. Let's go.
I hate correcting, but it's
no,
just
please do feel
because
free.
somebody else will if I don't. So
Listen. Those are the processes by which this show works, Lonzo.
Way to work that in.
Thank you very much. It's called a callback. It's a comedy staple. I don't mean to shock you Auburn Tiger fans, but Texas A&M's going to win this game. 66-58, 20 seconds left on the clock, and Auburn can't get anything to go through the strings. The Aggies going to upset the number 1 seed Auburn Tigers in the SEC tournament. Love to see it. Texter says, Buddy is the younger one. That was the bigger brother for Syracuse yesterday. No, I meant literally size. Texas says, built to beat Duke after we beat them by 20 the first time around. LOL, this guy. What just happened, right? Just happened. If you haven't paid attention, Duke is a significantly better basketball team now than they were a month and a half ago, right? Or sorry, Duke is a better team now than they were a month and a half ago. But Carolina right now is in fuego. What aspect of Carolina's game do you say Duke's better at right now? When Syracuse took you to the brink, right? Cuse without Buddy Boeheim took you to the brink. You don't think Carolina's better than that? Come on, man. I know you're a Duke guy, but you just saw that Carolina came into your house on the most emotional night of the year and smoked you. And then you got taken to the limit by Syracuse. Now, granted, it's basketball. One game is all that matters. That's one of the reasons that I have said a couple of times. March Madness is America's favorite sporting event, right? I think it is. I think it's America's favorite sporting event. I think it's bigger than the Super Bowl. I think it's bigger. I know it's bigger than the World Series. It's bigger than the NBA Finals, which is interesting because for the rest of the year, I think there's a pretty average amount of interest in college basketball until early March, right? I think that there's an average amount of interest in college basketball overall until the tournament starts. But then it's America's favorite sporting event. I actually believe that. But as sports go, I'm not talking about the entertainment aspect of it, right? I'm not talking about the entertainment aspect. I'm talking about sport on the court, on the floor. As sport goes, it's about my 5th favorite postseason, right? Because I good teams can lose one game and national championship teams can disappear from consideration based on a flub. I prefer series. I prefer the NBA where we get a best of 7 game series. 7 games is going to show you who the better team is. 1 game isn't. But the do or die, figure it out or go home mentality is what makes it so interesting. I think it's exciting as hell. I think it's the most exciting postseason in all of sports. I think the best postseason in all of sports is college baseball's. College baseball has the single best postseason in all of American sports. Hands down as far as I am concerned. March is the most exciting, but you get games like this. Texas A&M's a good team, 21-11, but they're 500 in the SEC. Auburn's a better basketball team than Texas A&M, but Texas A&M is about to move on to the SEC semifinals because they had one better day. If this is a series, I'm stacking Auburn to win it. Who, by the way, are now down 6. Contested 3 goes up and a foul. So Auburn's going to shoot 3 free throws here and kind of have to go 3 for 3 from the stripe. 8.5 seconds left to play, down 6. Kind of have to go 3 for 3 from the stripe here. A little screen 3. I don't see a foul there, Lonzo. I see a really well contested 3.
Not from that angle. I didn't see any contact.
I didn't see any contact unless he got him on the way down. Jabari Smith for Auburn, 82% from the stripe this year. 6th best free throw shooter in the SEC. Misses the first one. Oh, no. I think he had to go perfect here to give Auburn a chance. I think they're done. They're done, right?
There's 8.5 seconds left. Yeah, they're done.
Well, I mean, your hope is you're down 3. You foul them. Preferably they miss 2, but at least you get a shot. Gets the second. So 66-61, 8.5 left to play. I think you got to miss this on purpose, right? I think you got to brick iron here. Hope you get the rebound and the putback.
See, I don't know. I just don't think they have a shot. So
I don't think they do either. I think this game's in the bag. But I mean, you're playing for that 0.03% chance.
Steal the ball, go for a 3, get fouled on the 3, actually make the 3-point shot, then you tie the game.
Ball's inbounds
But
and
no.
fouled. 7.1 now on the floor. All right, I'll let you know how that one finishes out. Texas says, how dare you guys speak foul of my Duke Tigers? All right, let's do this. You know what? I'm going to finish this game with you. I'm going to let you know. I can't. This game's too good. We're going to do Fanboy Friday next, where Lonzo and I bring all the nerdy stuff we don't talk about on the air. But I'm going to get you through the last 7.1, unless it ends up going like 30 minutes of 7.1 seconds. First free throw is good, 67-62. 5-point lead now for the Aggies. Second free throw is on the way here momentarily. Free throw is up. Misses. Auburn gets a rebound. 6 seconds left. They got to put something on the air. You don't have time for all this, boys. 3-pointers up and no good, and that's going to do it. The Texas A&M Aggies have upset the number 1 seeded Auburn Tigers and head on to the SEC semifinals. How about the Aggies making a run? I would like to congratulate the Colts, ladies and gentlemen. The Colt of Texas A&M is now playing for an SEC semifinal berth into the finals. I like it. Heartbreaking for Auburn, man. They're going dancing. It doesn't matter. Now, this does, Lonzo, I think it does cost Auburn their number 1 overall or their number 1 seed. I think they're a 2 now. I think their path to the Sweet 16 just got a little more difficult. But we'll see. We'll see. Selection Sunday just around the corner, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a break. We come back, Fanboy Friday. We head steaming towards the end of the show and the end of the week. I'm Rob. He's Lonzo. You're you. This is ESPN Upstate.
market. In times like these, we understand that clients want proactive communication and guidance. We don't just provide a cookie-cutter portfolio.
The Rob Brown Show brought to you today by the REO Speedwagon and the Doors. Nice. Nothing but can. I like it. Can it go 2 for 2? Yes. In fuego, ladies and gentlemen.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions, right? No, we don't sell commission products. Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, the highest standard for a financial advisor. It means we're there for our clients and always put their interest first.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, our fees are transparent, structured so we do better when our clients do better. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you are switching to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
This is a message from Men's Health Partners. You've heard us on the radio, you've watched our commercials on TV, and you've seen us in the newspaper. So you know what we do. We are a men's health facility and are licensed providers specializing in treating erectile dysfunction, Peyronie's disease, low testosterone, and, well, you get it. All the things that a man needs to get that mojo back. That's what we do.
All I know is I respect that vest. That thing is rocking.
It's a good look.
It's a good combo with the tie.
Mm-hmm. Number one reason I don't want to lose weight is so I can wear vests again. Fat guys don't look good in vests. I don't look good in the vest as a fat guy. Let me put it that way.
Do something about it now.
To speak with a care professional immediately, call 301.
Oh, the wheel in the sky keeps on turning.
See, that was in my head earlier, too.
I don't know what I'll be tomorrow.
30 years ago, in the Brooklyn neighborhood of Crown Heights, a car accident set off 4 days of unrest. 2 people died, hundreds were arrested. I'm Collier Meyerson, and my new show, Love Thy Neighbor, explores what came to be known as the Crown Heights Riot. It's a story about New York's first Black mayor, the rise of Rudy Giuliani, and the Lubavitch Jewish and Caribbean community sitting at the center of it all. You can listen to new episodes of Love Thy Neighbor every week wherever you listen, or you can binge the entire series exclusively on Odyssey.
I saw this thing earlier where this guy invaded. Man, I hate people that invade in Elden Ring. It makes me so mad because, I mean, what's the point? Look how good I am. I'm coming to your game and I'm going to beat you. Ha.
Can you do that without their permission?
Yes.
Oh, like when you summon somebody, somebody can enter as an adversary?
No, you can you lay down this, it's like a corrupted finger or something,
Right.
and it will send you to someone else's game just so you can kill them. And there are advantages to
Like
it.
take their runes
And
from them?
you get runes and some other stuff. I don't.
If
but-
somebody comes in your game and kills you, do you lose your runes?
I mean, you can come back and get them. It's just like
Yeah,
dying.
okay.
So they don't steal yours. But yeah, it just makes you so mad. So this guy, I guess it must have been a computer who cheated at it and came in and was invincible and was tearing these other 2 dudes up. They went over to a gate or a lift and they tricked the guy into attacking, and the dude fell down the hole and died. It was great. Later on, you will come to a spot where they will show you how to do it, and you kind of invade somewhat,
Yeah.
but it's even
Yeah.
offline you can do it. So
When you hear the lightsabers clash, it's time for Fanboy Friday. That's where Alonzo and I bring all the nerdy stuff we talk about off the air on it for just a segment or more if we want. So the last week we had a listener write in and ask us, what kind of video game console should I get as a beginning gamer? Like, where should I go as a beginning gamer? We gave some suggestions. And the suggestion that I gave primarily was find the console, and then find the console you want based on, what you think you're going to be into. And then step number one, and maybe the most important step, is find the genre you think you're most interested in, right? Whether it's first-person shooters, sports games, fantasy games, whatever. I had to tell you, though, I'm usually very on board in RPGs, Skyrim, stuff like that, which is a feature of mine later in life. I wasn't into that in my 20s, in my early 30s. It's relatively new for me. Like, I bought Skyrim when it came out, and I played it for a little while, but never really like do it. And in recent years, though, I've gotten very, very invested in it. Elden Ring is the game that everybody's playing right now, right? Like, I got on last night late, clicked on my friends list, and pretty much everybody I have was either playing Call of Duty or Elden Ring. And I don't know if it's because I'm not used to games that have the difficulty level of Elden Ring, or if it's because I really am still I'm not a crafter in games, right? Like, I don't like crafting stuff. Just give me the stick that lets me do the shooting magic, all right? I don't want to have to go find 93 different pieces and then organize them in certain ways and add this and find that. And I don't want to I just want you to give me whatever it is that I need to move to the next stage of the game. I've been playing it for about a week now, both with friends and solo. And I got to tell you, Zoe, I'm kind of over it to some degree. Like, I popped on last night for about 10, 15 minutes, but I think at least for me, I mean, I know you can explore this gigantic map, but even as you're exploring, you still kind of have to grind out to grow. And then there's the added thing of, if you die, your progress is lost, right? Like, you got all these materials to upgrade, and if you die, you lose them. You can go back and find it, but like you lose them. I found myself, I played about 10, 12 minutes last night. And as soon as I saw one of my buddies on Call of Duty, I'm like, nope, I'm jumping over. Like, I'm more interested in that.
I will say this is the first game of this sort that I've played as much as I'm playing, and it's because it's open world and it's not linear. And the other Soulsbane games were all fairly linear, to the point where if you got to a spot and you couldn't get past something, you could not progress the game. This game is not like that, where it's open world and you can go wherever you want. Then you can take the time to build up the character to go back and take on that boss if you're not ready for them each time you go there. So that's one of the reasons why I'm putting so much time into this. And I am also, I usually will not look at any guides or anything like that, but a guide's not going to help you here, because skill is the only thing that's going to get you through. I mean, I've seen people that would be considered overpowered lose, because it's just a matter of seeing how these things that you're fighting fight, and being able to anticipate, roll at the right time, hit at the right time. And I think there's no way you could just plow right through this.
Yeah, I mean, with a lot of other games, it's like, not that all other games are linear, they're not, but like with Skyrim, you go through the progression, right? You go through the progression, and you go progression, and then you get to the end, and then there's a boss fight. And
Skyrim will give you some direction, just like Fallout, some other big time. They give you a little direction. Hey, if you want to progress the game, you need to go here. This game does not do that.
No, it does not.
Other than the very first thing, they kind of tell you need to do this.
And I think maybe that's the other part, is this game does not tell you how to play this game. Like, it gives you the core mechanics, and then it's like, okay, have fun. And maybe it's because I am an idiot, but I'm like, all right, what now? Right, what now? Like, we had our buddy in the Facebook chat, Tayshawn, jump on the other day. I was playing with him, and he's like, we got to go here and do this. And I'm like, I would have had no idea, right? Instead, I'm just stumbling into everything that wants to kill me. And, oh, by the way, can. To the point that I got back to, I'm just going to play Call of Duty Battle Royale because I know how that game works. There's that guy, shoot him, he's dead, move to the next building.
And see, I looked up where some of the easier accessible armors are, and then I went to that place, which just worked out, happened to be a part of the next part of the main story, and died a bunch of times to get the armor, even though the armor was weaker than what I was wearing, just because it looks cool. And this is it's a lot of people are playing this game for a reason, because it's a beautiful game.
Oh, it looks great.
It's difficult, but it is a beautiful game, and it's a challenge to the point where you're like, okay, can I do this? And I get your frustration. I will reach that eventually and go, okay, I'm ready to move on, but not till I try to beat it. And I haven't tried to beat this game.
Yeah, and I guess that's it for me is, like even to just get to the next little part of the map, the dude they put between you and there is an absolute gigantor. And I know that you can go anywhere you want. It's great.
You don't have to fight that guy to progress in the map. You can go anywhere and find pieces of the map and open it up. And that's what I did. I mean, I went to places where you should not go, where you can get one-shotted just because I wanted to open up the map and see what's over there. There's a place with nothing but dragons. And I didn't find that out till I went over there and found the place with nothing but dragons.
I went to yesterday. I decided, you know what? I'm going to take Zoe's advice and I'm just going to jump on the horse and start riding around and see where I end up. And I'm picking off, whatever little one guy enemies I can find. And then I'm coming across giants whatever, blah, blah, blah. Nobody cares. But I come across one the little clown zombie dudes, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Come across one, and he's just by himself, and I'm like, oh, got that guy. All right, easy. Run over, one shot him. And then out of the ground jumps very loudly a gigantic bear, but not when I say gigantic, I'm talking like a building, right? Not like a bear, like a building that looks like a bear, who screams at me, knocks me off the horse, and then starts chasing me. Get on the horse. Here's the problem, Lonzo. I ran for the better part of 3 minutes, and he never stopped chasing me. I ran past giants to see, okay, maybe he'll attack them, or nope, he just kept. 3 minutes, I ran around. By the time I was able to find somewhere where he stopped chasing me, I stopped. I'm like, okay, he left me alone. Club from a giant that I didn't know was there, right? And when it happens, the only way to get your progress back is, hey, remember that thing that just killed you? You got to go right back to where it was. Good luck, partner.
By the way, if you ever go back to the game, a little advice, if you're being chased by something you know is going to kill you, find grace. Because you die, you pop up right where that grace is, and then you're right by your stuff.
I don't know. I know it's like the phenomenon of gamers right now. I've been in a week and a half, and I'm like, call it. And maybe it's just because I like things that I know I'm okay at, right? I prefer things I'm good at.
I think you like playing with other people more.
And that's also a big part.
Yeah.
I do like multiplayer games when I can jump on with, Kevin and the rest of the gang that I play that with, or last night, me and 3 other guys from the Reedy River Riot, the soccer supporters club, were playing together. When we can joke and laugh and have a good time, and I can play a game that every few seconds I can set the controller down and have a pop of bourbon and then jump back on and make inappropriate jokes with my friends, I much prefer that.
I guarantee you, if you and I and Cameron were playing Elden Ring, you'd have a good time.
We'll give it a shot. I mean, I'm not done with it.
It just hasn't worked out that we've been able to do that.
I'm not done with it yet by any stretch. Like, I'm going to keep grinding at it to see if it gets more fun as I progress. But the last couple times I've played, it has been more of I feel obligated to play this because I paid $60 for it.
Yeah, there you go. I've already got my money's worth out of it. I put enough hours into it, and I can always say, well, I'm reviewing this, which I am. But I'm glad I bought it. Will I beat it? I might not beat this game. It's possible. It wouldn't be the first time I bought a game that I couldn't beat.
Dexter says, if you like Star Wars, you need to play Jedi Fallen Order. Thank me later.
Yeah, it's a great game, and I got stuck on one part and left it alone for about 6 months, went back and just recently beat it. And there's a rumor out there that someone from there might be showing up in a series that's about to drop.
Yeah, I need to. I've heard nothing but good about it, so I may put that on the list. All right.
You know those big Imperial walkers from Hoth?
Yeah, the AT-ATs.
Yeah,
the AT-ATs.
You get to drive one of those.
Oh well, then I'm in. That's good enough for me. Absolutely. All right. Let's do this. Let's take a break. Texter said, Alan texted in and said, can you take a second and explain why you think Texas A&M is a cult? I'm curious as a relatively new fan. Oh, yes, I can. I will take great pleasure in it. And I'll explain that when I come back on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
Whether it's a bad kick, nagging back pain,
See, I love this game because Cameron come rolling in there like, let me show you how it's done. Like as cocky as he was on the show. And he's like, where did that come from? That's not supposed to happen. Why is this?
I had the headset on. What's up, dude? I had the headset on last night while we're playing.
That storage folder yesterday.
And that thing came up the ground, and I had my headset on because Courtney was asleep.
Look at this.
And it was
JD Power
freaking
awarded
loud.
Cricket #1 customer service and purchase experience in the NBA.
Are you saying you yelled? You jumped?
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
You don't say.
That's Diesel like me, very surprised that you jumped.
Intentionally jump scares me on a daily basis.
You jump scare yourself.
That is.
You do jump scare yourself. He's right.
For JD Power 2022 wireless customer care and purchase experience mobile network operator performance studies award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
Have you ever noticed that when the afternoon light hits your floors, you can see everything, including dust? So much.
Cameron's so loud though, you can hear him through my headphones in another room when he's screaming when something. And then he woke the baby up. He's like, I probably need to be quiet. I was like, yeah, you probably do.
Ultra-thick pads that trap and lock dust before it gets in the air. Just a couple minutes a day.
And dust is gone.
Swiffer Heavy Duty Sweeper. Proud partner of the American Lung Association.
And I don't like playing with other people because I feel like I'm a pretty good gamer until I play with other people. And then I realize, not really. I don't want to hurt my own self-esteem. Plus, I play alone because I think it's more immersive when you play alone. I think it's more, you can really get into the game like you're in the game if it's just you.
I don't know. See, I'm the shooter games, Call of Duty. That's it for me. Because like last night at one point we were playing, and so we're playing a game mode called Resurgence, where there's multiple teams of 4, and when you die, it starts a 30-second timer, and after 30 seconds you can spawn back in unless everybody on your team dies in that window, in which case you're eliminated. And so like communication is super important for that game, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we got trapped because the map, it's like the map gradually closes the
So like
floor.
Fortnite.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
There's
All
a
right.
gas cloud, and if you go outside, anyway, we got trapped. There's 2 spots. There's a road that goes from the high ground down to the low ground, and we were on the low ground, and this team clearly had the high ground and cover in it, which means we had to run into their field of view to get there. And it ended up being where we said, okay, Rob's gonna go because I'm our RPG guy. If there's a guy around me and I can kill him with a rocket launcher, it's what I'm doing.
Well, you
All
should, yeah.
Put in a rocket in this window. It's gonna force it back away. When he does that, Joe, you go over here and it's gonna blow him into that corner. You hit him, so it makes them panic into the other room. And when they panic into the other room, the other 2 guys will push up the hill. Then we can hold them in that room, and then Rob and Joe can come up. And like you have to plan this else, or you're gonna get massacred. And that's what we did. And that to me is fun, like to be to not just to be like, I mean, it's fun to just BS while you're playing the game, but when you actually have to communicate with each other to succeed, it's infinitely more fun for me.
I also have a problem with headset. I mean, because we're wearing headphones, all day, and then I get my headset on for a while. It's like it starts to bug me, and I'm like, I feel like I'm going bald, and it's like, I need to take this thing off. And no matter what headset I get, it just gets too hot. Every time Lisa's like, are you okay? Your face is really red. Yeah, it's because the headset gets, I don't know. The heat can't escape out my ears.
Center on ESPN TV. NBA injured Mavs starters Jalen Brunson, Dorian Finney-Smith out tonight against the
I can't wait to hear about the cult.
suspended at the Players' Championship.
Texas A&M's a cult. Absolutely is.
Well, I'm waiting for you to convince me.
Have you ever seen the Yell Leaders?
No.
So we had a texter ask us. I described a minute ago that I believe that Texas A&M, and this is with all due respect to the Aggie fans in the audience, all 4 of you. Texas A&M's a cult. All right, it just is. I love them. 2 or 3 of my very dear friends back in Florida are A&M fans. I have been to an A&M game. It was an away game. It was in Baton Rouge. It was at LSU. They're fine people, but just I don't know, the whole thing is very culty to me. And it starts with, did you see during the A&M game a minute ago, Zoe? Did you happen to see the guy in all white standing courtside? He is known as a yell leader. All right. They elect some seniors and they serve as yell leaders, and they're effectively cheerleaders that lead chants for the team. Right? Nothing wrong with that.
I was going to say, what's wrong with that?
Nothing wrong with that. Like this, I'm putting on the screen right now, and you can say what you want, but everybody is chanting with this, and it's just very, very awkward.
It's the same as this.
Except for the one experience that I had with A&M fans. Here's another video of them. With A&M, I went to a yell practice. Now, this concept I actually think is kind of cool. They have a yell practice, and in the yell practice, it's effectively a pep rally, right? And they all gather in Kyle Field. They fill up the stadium, and it's almost sold out like a football game. And they have the yell leaders, all dudes, no female cheerleaders, which is, again, it's fine, whatever. I ain't one for double standards. They all come together and they do all these chants and collective cheers together. But they tell these awkward, weird little jokes and stuff in between them that aren't funny. They're like bad dad jokes.
Is it like going to the Rocky Horror Picture Show?
It's worse.
Okay.
It's worse. It's cheesy. It's corny. It's weird. But the whole crowd buys in like it's the greatest thing that's ever happened. And granted, it's your team. That's fine, right? Like, of course you buy into your team's traditions, even if you don't love them. Most of y'all agree that the chant blank bait, right? Tiger bait, gator bait. It's dumb. What is gator bait used for?
To capture a gator.
Yeah, and then kill it and make shoes out of it, right?
Or eat.
Yeah. I mean, cool, but bait is no, that'd be gator food. Gator food
No,
would make more
right.
sense.
You're right.
Would make more sense. Gator snack would make more sense. That's fine. We all do dumb things in the name of sports, right? I watch Ohio State fans do this all the time. It's like, that's dumb, but it's your school.
Hey,
so
if you're
it's
going to
cool.
do it right.
But you get my point.
OH.
So we all do dumb stuff. But I sat there at a yell practice one day before an LSU away game, by the way. And for the record, credit on them, they brought like 7,000 people to a yell practice for an away game, right? But the whole thing feels like a cult meeting. Like they have these hand signals that everybody does and generates, and the yell leaders do like this. It's just weird, man. And if you talk to them, they swear to you that it's the greatest thing in college football. And the best part is, so A&M hired Jimbo Fisher when I was down broadcasting in Florida, right? Who came out of Florida State, helped FSU win the 2013 national championship. A couple years later, they hired him. Texas A&M genuinely views themselves on the same plane as Alabama, same plane as Auburn, as LSU. And it's like, guys, you're not. You're not. You're the little brother in your own state, right? Maybe not in the last couple of years, but you're not there. It's just weird. Like overall, people go, oh, it's just what fans do. Right. And people in cults will tell you their cult is totally normal. Of course they do. I have been around Aggie fans. Some of their traditions are wild, man. They're wild. And the yell leaders are just weird. Not guy cheerleaders. I don't care about that. That's fine. Get a lady something to enjoy too between plays. It's not male cheerleaders. I'm good with that. These yell leader bros, they show up in like overalls with cut off shirts under it, and they start doing woo-wee 24. Like, it's just weird. And then they're treated like they're gods on campus. Like, to be an Aggie yell leader and wear by the way, guys, you're not a military school, right? Like, you're not. You're agricultural and mechanical. It's just weird. Like, as a whole, you're a land grant school. And that's not against land grant schools, but you guys act like you're the damn military. It's wild. It's wild. If you have never done it, I invite you to go look up like A&M yell practice or A&M yell leaders and all that and watch them. It is weird. All right, let me get Jason in here before we take a break and end the week with Twitter Trending Topics. Jason, welcome back. Good to have you, buddy.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. Well, I'm happy for baseball to be back, of course. And now with the designated hitter in the National League, I just think that even, strengthens the reason to sign Freddie Freeman to a large contract. And, he's obviously been pretty healthy his entire most of his career. I don't think he's going to go the Chipper Jones route. I think, first base is definitely a lot easier, on the knees or, a little easier position for than, say, third base and left field. So Chipper played much of his career. So, I think that even strengthens the reason to sign him. He can get a day off every, 7, 8, 10 days and, still be in the lineup. And I'm happy to see the designated hitter just for that reason.
So I said about Freddie earlier in the show, Jason, don't know if you got a chance to catch it, but I'll tell you now anyway, because it's my show and I want to. I said about Freddie Freeman earlier, where Freddie plays next year is going to depend on what Freddie's priorities are, right? Like if his priority is to leave a legacy with a team, it's Atlanta. If his priority is to leave a legacy that is recognized nationally, the Yankees are there. And if his legacy is to make as many American dollars as he can make, the LA Dodgers make sense because they got a wide open payroll and desperately need a first baseman after Corey Seager left. We don't know what Freddie's priorities are, right? Like it seemed like after the World Series, he was going to be a Brave for life, but all of us have had that point where we go on a date with a pretty girl, have a great time, and the next day are like, that's my dream girl. I'm going to marry this girl one day. I'm going to marry her and just be with her forever. And then 6 months later, you're going, oh, that was dumb. That was not the right call, right? I'm miserable now. This is not what I wanted. Now that Freddie, the lockout was a terrible thing for the Braves because it gave Freddie 100 days to really decide what his priorities are. And if his priorities are anything other than I want to be the face of a franchise, Freddie's gone. Because there are at least two other teams that are going to pay him, I think, significantly more than the Atlanta Braves will and put him on the national scene, those being LA and New York.
Yeah, so the Braves are not going to be able to resign in what route you think they'll go?
No idea. No idea. How do you replace that, right? Like, and on top of that, there aren't a ton of top tier MLB first baseman available, right? I mean, do you try to replace him with a Carlos Correa, who, by the way, is going to get a fat offer from the Yankees? Do you go get Chris Bryant and see if that adds back to the infield? I don't know that there are a bunch of first basemen available, certainly ones that are hitters the way that Freddie Freeman is. I don't know what you do if you were the Braves other than you make a pitch to him and go, dude, we want you to be everything that Chipper Jones was and more. Please stick it out and be a legacy player. And I don't know if that's enough of a sales pitch for a guy that LA is going to offer him $200 million for 5 years.
And I think it's even tougher. I mean, worse than that is he's been a big left-handed bat. He's even harder to replace. On top of that, it's kind of like a double whammy right there. So I guess you can move what's the name there to from third base to first base, and go out and get another third baseman. That's it could be an option. But they made they generated a lot of revenue these past couple of years, and I'm hoping Liberty Media can see that. Of course, you don't want to get an Albert Pujols situation, and of course. Freddie Freeman, the way he's built, it's not. I don't think is going to be on tough on his knee, his body, whatever. As Albert Pujols, and that is something to look at. You're paying him what he's done in the past, not what you don't know what he's going to do in the future.
No, that's absolutely fair. Absolutely fair. Jason, appreciate the call, but I got to run to a break here. You're right. The other thing the Braves don't want to do is overpay Freddie Freeman based on who he has been, knowing that he's in the back half of his career. There's no doubt about that, right? I don't want to give that guy $175 million for him to wear down over the next 3 or 4 years and be locked into that. But at the same time, the guy's playing great baseball right now. Where's the dice? Let's roll them. Back after this for Twitter and the end of the week on the Rob Brown Show. It's ESPN Upstate.
Saturday, slight chance for rain early. Skies become sunny. Temperatures slowly brighter today. Sunday, sunny, high 53. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Luchinski on ESPN Upstate. Currently, it's 60.
ESPN Upstate takes you to the biggest events in sports. What's next? Everyone's coverage of March Madness. Biggest game, the biggest names. Play on ESPN Upstate on 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg. Game on.
Whoever said the more the merrier sure wasn't in charge of hiring new employees, because the more unqualified candidates you have for a job, the more difficult your hiring can be. And that can make the process.
Arkansas's made 3 shots. I mean, it was 2 3-pointers and I mean, it's not like they're.
Right now for free at ZipRecruiter.com/hire. ZipRecruiter's powerful technology finds the right candidates.
It's good defense, Rob.
ZipRecruiter goes deeper.
Bad shot selection. Awful shot selection.
You can personally invite your top choices to apply, because the perfect hire is more than a list of qualifications.
Actually, from what I'm seeing, it is pretty good defense on Arkansas's. I mean, they just stifled that last possession and got a rebound. Oh, good move. At least you drew a foul.
That's right, free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/hire.
That's a big boat.
ZipRecruiter.com/hire.
If you're suffering every day with joint pain, stop and listen. You can get real lasting relief now with natural biologic treatments at QC.
Not sure I'll ever go on one of those, although we've talked about it. I don't know if I get seasick or not. You don't want to find out if you get seasick.
Once you're on sea.
Yeah, that's probably not. I mean, I've been on small boats, but I haven't been on a big one before. I think I'm starting to develop some motion sickness, though.
I developed vertigo. I can't spin in circles anymore. I used to love roller coasters and stuff. I can't do it anymore because I get so dizzy.
Well, I can't handle bridges and mountains. Now I'm finding out when I'm on the horse in Elden Ring, and if you're locked on, you can go around in a circle and you stay locked on the one. I've gotten nauseous a couple of times to the point where I've had to unlock and get away from the thing that I'm fighting. It's like, this is weird. Why is this making me sick? Because the entire screen rotates with, and that just, I got stuck one time playing VR, playing Skyrim, and the thing glitched, and it kept taking me into the earth and then shooting me into the sky. And I couldn't make my arms work to take the thing off. And I'm just like, because it just suddenly hit me like that. I'm like, and then finally, I mean, it was force of will to get my arms up to take the thing off. And I walked out, and Lisa's like, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "I got to go lay down." I had to go lay down for a couple hours. It tore me up. I mean, that slingshot, and it was quick, and it was just
Choose the loan that's right for your business. As America's largest online small business lender, OnDeck has funded over $14 billion to businesses like yours, so you can borrow with confidence and get your loan fast. Go to OnDeck.com. Your loan is on deck.
So when I posted earlier about singing "Kiss from a Rose," I literally did that, and there's a guy in front of me at the light right out here watching me the entire time in his rearview mirror. And usually I get a little embarrassed over that. And then it's like, dude, why are you watching me for? Watch the road. I'm just going to kill this thing. Do you do that? Do you look around at everybody at the red light trying to see what? I don't care what's going on in your car. Unless you roll the window halfway down and I see a Glock or something, I'm good.
Because I gotta tell you, I kick every air instrument's butt on the front seat and stuff.
Right.
I play them all.
I feel like I'm in my sanctuary, you know?
Let me live my life.
I won't even sing in the office in front of Rob.
He won't, that's true.
I will on the air, though.
He will.
I'll do it on the air, though.
He will absolutely play his old music
Yeah, I'll do that. But you can't sing to yourself. That's weird. Can you sing to yourself? I don't know. No.
I almost exclusively sing.
No. You're missing the point. If you're playing your stuff, unless you want to harmonize with yourself, which is kind of cool if you can do that. Lisa can do that. It is time for Twitter trending topics, where I tell you what is trending on the internet. More specifically, I tell Rob, and he will tell us what he knows about it. The first thing is a person near and dear to Rob's heart. I know that. Rob Paulsen is trending.
Rob Paulsen, one of my favorite people. Rob Paulsen, a voice actor who was the voice of so many of the Saturday morning cartoons that your boy grew up with, including 2 of the 3 Animaniacs, 2 of the 4 Ninja Turtles, I believe, and some others. A number of years ago, Rob Paulsen and the other lady who did the voice of the Animaniacs, they came to Destin, Florida, where I'm from. And with the Okaloosa County Symphony Orchestra, they did a full symphonic concert of songs from the Animaniacs cartoons, including Wacko listing all the countries, right? There's Panama, Canada, but I can't do it, but he did it. And he did that live with a symphony orchestra playing the backtrack, which was incredible. And then after I got the chance to meet him, I waited around and got the chance to meet him and asked him as Michelangelo, who he voiced in the OG Ninja Turtle animated cartoon, to record my voicemail as Michelangelo. So for about 2 years, from like 2014 to 16, when you called Rob Brown, Michelangelo from the Ninja Turtles told you to leave a message and be radical. So I didn't answer my phone for like 2 years because I just let everybody go to voicemail for it. But please tell me he's not trending for something terrible.
Oh, today's his birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, Rob.
There we go.
Let's see if we can get Rob Paulsen on the show one day.
We should do that.
We really should.
Yeah.
Dude's awesome.
Yeah.
And he's like the nicest dude. When I met him, not to make this whole thing a tribute to Rob Paulsen ending the show, but when I met him, I said, Mr. Paulsen, my name is Rob Brown. I said, I didn't know who you were as a kid, but like because he voiced more than just those. Like he was in every cartoon. I was like, I watched so many cartoons that you were a part of growing up. Like you kind of shaped who I am. And he said, that's why I keep doing it. He said, every time that somebody your age comes up to me and tells me a story like this, it reinvigorates my want to keep doing it. Just a great dude.
All right. I want to get to this next one. Copper hair craze.
What?
Copper hair craze.
What?
Apparently in Hollywood now, there's a craze where everyone is turning into gingers.
Is it a big ginger hair craze?
They call it copper hair, but it's basically, it's copper hair is ginger hair, isn't it?
I'll tell y'all something. I love me a pretty redheaded girl. All right. Always have. Careful, boys. Careful, gentlemen. Careful. That's all I'm going to say. Careful. There is a National Redheads Day. They love to make sure you know.
It's also Soulless Day.
Wow. That's Lonzo, ladies and gentlemen. All hate mail to be sent courtesy of the great one. That's it for us. Have a great weekend, everybody. Want to spend a special congratulations out to our buddy Keegan, our P1, getting hitched tomorrow.
Way to go, Keegan.
Yeah, buddy. Congratulations. And a very sympathetic we're sorry to Savannah, who made the decision to do it with them. We'll be back Monday. Y'all have a great rest of your weekend. I'll drink and drive. I'll punch you in the face. It's the Rob Brown Show. Later, brother. Bye, stream. Thanks.